G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by you.
It's me. Yes, it's me. I gotta say, X, I love the background.
Yes.
I love the head, you know, but man, I've got the best hips ever.
Yeah, I thought only you could pull off that body. Yeah. Good. No, good to have you back.
I don't think so.
Good to have you back, though.
It looks nothing like me. I continually get told I look like I'm 6 months.
Yeah.
Because of the
mean 6 months?
Bulge of the belly.
The bulge of the belly? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I didn't put it. The only thing I did was take the female character, took off her hair and the whole head, and then put your head over the top. And then I realized after I did, I went, oh, it's actually a female body. Oops. Anyway. But it was really good. It was really good background, and man, I had like 7 or 8 different titles for this episode. I even went on to Bops, and Bops even offered more on his stream, and then I ran it through AI, and I said, "What is the best of these suggestions for this thumbnail?" And it actually came back with the original one I wanted to do, which was the "Oh, it's you." So I just went with that.
Oh, it's you. Yes, yes. No, I wasn't saying it was indicating that I was fat, but it's often what I get told.
What a week, though. We've actually got a lot to talk about this week.
We do.
There was a whole bunch of stuff. So, so just so people know, I send Algared messages throughout the week about things we're going to talk about, and this week I sent him a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about. So we've got to there's a thing Space was talking about, and it looks like they're going to do the character creator in Squadron a little bit like Mass Effect. So I don't know if it was him or someone else worked it out, but it was on a video of his that I saw. So basically they reckon that you're gonna you kind of pick a default character to get started in the game. So you know how, because we're always told that you could create your own character in a character editor, right? And that you could basically then go take that from that into Star Citizen, right? And I found it really weird at the time when we were watching that tutorial. You just pick a default character. I was like, that's not like what we've been told. That's a bit weird. And then he in his video he put some stuff together, and he reckons that after, because he shows as the Javelin's escape pods escaping, there's no door on it. The door fails. Like he goes to put in the code and the door doesn't close. And at the time, Space said he thought it was a bug, but now he's thinking that there's a blast and it damages your face, and then so after that they reconstruct your face, and that's what they did in Mass Effect. That you basically start out like a certain character, and then you can basically choose what you look like after that. So they kind of get the character creator out of the way, so you're not starting the game doing this whole character creation thing. I think it's kind of interesting.
Oh, if they do that, I like that. I like that idea.
So I think
ethnification, greetings, Dark great to see you. Just picking up the Twitch comments from people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hudson Hawk.
I don't know. I don't know if Space came up with that little theory, but it's a good theory nonetheless. I don't know if it was someone else that found it and he's just repeating it, but I have to give him credit because it was in one of his videos. So I don't know who the original person was, though, if there was.
It is certainly a good idea, because that way you've got the character to start with that they're created, and then once you've gone through the tutorial and you've escaped and you're going through the, yeah, it makes sense.
And I've currently got like 20+ messages in the little group between Grim, myself, and Trispone that I work up to. So we can only guess what that's all about. Clearly,
I've got no idea what that would be about. Nothing that was in Inside Star Citizen would be mentioned by those three. So nothing at all.
So if I let me close this for a second. Open this. Can I open this? And then if I click play, right. So now I should be able to. Hey, who's that spaceship mon? Right. It's pretty obvious what this is or was. So if you guessed the mole, congrats, you get 2 points. But then after that, it rapidly changes considerably.
Before you go any further, do you want to start the bot? Because I'm already seeing questions pop up that the bot's not picking up because it's not on yet.
No, it's not on yet. Good point. But now I've got to alt tab out of this screen to get it up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I've ruined your flow.
You have ruined my flow, sir. That is fine.
It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't ruin your flow.
It would not be the first time you ruining my flow. But that's fine. Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate it. I did forget it. Yep, it's on. Right. So, yeah, I think everyone worked out the mole stuff. But after that, I spent a fair bit of time looking at this. I've talked to it with a couple of different people over the last, I don't know, it's been out 20 hours or so.
Yeah.
But the first thing you'll kind of notice is there doesn't here, I could be wrong here, but I can't really see any saddlebags. Right? I see,
No.
I think it's a box or something akin to that instead. So I think that it's different. And when I was talking to you about this, I think you've kind of knocked the nail on the head. And the real question becomes with how far the changes on this go from the mole. So it's like, is it like the Valkyrie to the Asgard, or is it the Valkyrie to the Paladin? Yeah. And that's that. And if you know what we mean by that, basically the Asgard is a variant of the Valkyrie. The Paladin looks like those ships, but it's a completely different ship.
Yeah, the Paladin started life, we think, as one of those, but it just grew and morphed and became its own.
Yeah, because of the way the you know, it doubled the width of the cab and then it doubled the height, and you know, they clearly share assets in common. They probably started a Valkyrie, but then they obviously had to remap and re-texture the whole thing. So when you kind of work that all through, I've got some other questions too. Like, you'll notice on the top what appears to be a missile turret on the top. And I now wonder, Algared, is that how it breaks the ships apart? Like how the Vulture's got the blast charges. Well, think about it, right? You know how the Vulture's got the blast charges and you go out and you got to put them on the vehicle to blast it apart.
Yeah.
The turrets don't seem to have any lasers on their heads, but they do have the scraper beam. So they can extract and scrape, but how do they break it apart? Well, maybe they just hold it and shoot it with, like they hold it with a claw and then they shoot it apart with the turret on top. Or maybe that turret on the top is a laser turret. I've got no idea, right? Because again, it's a silhouette. We're going to be guessing a lot of things here. But I think it's very obvious now that this is the large orange Salvager. And the really big giveaway there is obviously the claw. There is only one other ship in the game that has a claw, and that's the Reclaimer. So I don't think anyone would be arguing that it's not a Salvager.
I do notice that in the back you've got that thing that, you know, two side bits that are poking up, and you've got two corresponding ones at the back. And I also wonder whether they're actually storage containers of some form. Or
when you're talking about pointing out at the back, hang on, let me go over. Are you talking about this bit here?
No, I'm talking about the bit above it to the side.
This?
That bit, yeah.
So
there's one on the other side, and it looked like there's two underneath as well.
I'll stop you. They're the engines. Remember how it had the X part on the mole that were flat, and then when you put down the landing gear, they went into an X? That's just the engines. Yeah. Those bits off the side are the VTOL that rotate like this. So, so all that is standard mole stuff. There's nothing extra there. Yeah. The only thing that seems to be missing is if you look down here, there's not enough
storage pods.
Well, there seems to be a couple there, but it doesn't seem to be quite the same underneath as a regular mole. So again, I could be off a little bit here. Maybe there's less saddlebags. Maybe it's a different system. It's just really kind of hard to tell. And again, you've still got this pod here at the front, and I'm wondering if, like, again, that could be the laser extractor as well. We just don't know. Anything we're going to say here is going to be guessing. So yeah,
absolute full-on speculation. And Space Tomato, welcome and thank you for that raid, and welcome to all you raiders who are greeting us. Thank you.
We were just talking.
Space, if you've got time, pop in and say hi. We'd love you to pop in and say hi, even though you just like to listen.
He won't.
I know.
He won't.
I keep saying it. One day he will surprise me. One day.
So, Space, we were literally just talking about your little theory video you did on the Mass Effect content creator. So kudos to that. It was a good little video that I watched. So we were talking about that just.
We were.
Did you come up with that yourself, Space, or did you find it somewhere else? Because I thought it was a really cool idea. But anyway. Hey Grim, you're welcome to jump in too if you want to talk about. I'm calling this the Vol, by the way. That's the name that the AI came back with. I was going to tell you the names that the AI came back with, but I think this is a really good working name for this. Is the Vol, which is another small mammal, and obviously mole and vol sound similar and they look similar. So that's the name I'm working with. Is the Vol. And
Robert JT says it looks like two scrapers on the wings and the claw. No, it's not a Connie. It's not a Connie hook.
No, it's definitely a mole issue.
It definitely looks like a mole variant.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. My very, very first thing was, is that a Connie? And then the more I looked, like after about 3 or 4 seconds, oh no, that's a mole. So yeah, right at the start, I thought it was a Connie, but no, it's actually a mole variant.
Yeah, that's an insult. So it's the cargo moist or the Argo moist. Yeah.
Well, I've heard some really interesting names, but I haven't heard anything better than Vol. And look, I'll tell you right now, the other ones that the AI came back, because that was the third one it came back with. The first one it came back with was crab. And I thought there's no way they would call it the Argo crab because people have a field day after what they did with the Bannermetra, man. And then the second one, which I thought was funny because of Australia, was the ibis.
Yep.
You know, the bin chicken.
Yep. The bin chicken.
That was so funny. It was so good. But I was like, there's no way they'll call it that because Australians would meme the shit out of it. And the third one was the Vol, and the fourth one was the bear, which was kind of a more armored, because I asked it to come back with 4-letter. Hello, Grim. I asked it to come back with 4-letter animal names. Based on the Argo mole being a mining ship, what would be a good 4-letter animal name for a salvager?
Yeah.
I know, Grim.
And Space.
Hey, Space. Oh, Space there too. He can join in too.
But he did message in chat saying he had to step away, so he probably didn't hear what we said about his theory post about from his videos. But we were talking about that, and then we did wonder: did you come up with it yourself, or did you pick it up from somewhere else? So, if you're there, we'd love you to pop in and give us your thoughts on that.
Right, Grim. So, what's your thoughts on this, mate?
So, I'm curious what you guys think. I guess I was thinking it was possible, but was hoping it was not a mole variant. And the reason is scale. The mole isn't that much bigger than the vulture. It's about 12 meters longer.
It's not large. That was my first thought too. Because when they said a lot, and the thing I've realized with talking to John and Ben is they don't know the scale of their own ships. They don't.
Well,
and it was really obvious to me.
The scale of the ship isn't obviously super important. What I think is important in regard to scale is the RMC carry capacity.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. So when I was talking to Ben and John, they literally kept on referring to the Ironclad as a corvette, and I said, but it's not in the same size class. I said, if you look at you guys called the Polaris a ship, and that's an S5 size ship, but technically the Ironclad's an S4. So how can they be in a completely different size class and you call them a corvette? And I just was like, they don't know. They don't know their own this is why they don't have metrics or any of that shit. And I was just like, they just don't know. And so when they call this a large ship, it's not. Well, a mole is not a large, by the way. Technically, under their own metrics, it's the largest medium. So
largest medium, yeah.
It's only going to increase by a couple of meters though, and it does become a large, right? So that's the other part of it, is what if it is a little larger?
So the question there becomes, and again, this could be something slightly bigger than a mole, but then the question becomes, let's say it is that size, then obviously we got plenty of room for more salvage ships.
Yeah.
Because the reclaimer is like 150, right?
So our thing, Grim, that makes you think it's a mole variant or mole-esque ship is it's the large orange salvage ship, and we were saying Argo for ages.
No, I was saying I also said Sinu because I thought the way they're doing
Sinu or mole,
But I'll say this really quickly: with that claw on it, it possibly extends it by a couple of meters, just weirdly on the front, and that would be enough to chuck it into the large category.
And here's the thing, to be clear, I'm not, it's like, the scale isn't something I'm hoping for just because, I want a big ship. It's more like, okay, if it's the mole, what are we looking at for RMC? capacity plus the buffer.
Yeah.
So you would want it, especially if let's just assume, like the mole, you take out 3 of your friends on this. You would want it to be worth it, right? To pay those friends. So where do you target the RMC carry capacity of it? I forget what the reclaimer is, but the reclaimer, when you fill up a reclaimer, there's enough profit to go around for the 4 or 5 people you may take with you. That'll be like a big thing that I look at with this one.
Well, if you like, I'll open this in a separate window. I'm looking at it, and you
and what Alex is doing that, if you look at it as a mole-esque variant, like is it as we were saying earlier, is it like the Valkyrie to the Asgard, or which is just a variant, or is it the Valkyrie to the Paladin, which is
how much of it does it change?
Design, but so much bigger. So
so straight off the bat, the regular mold has 96 SCU, and the cargo area on the reclaimer, I'm gonna have to check it again, but I remember it being only 90 in the actual cargo area of the reclaimer. Or I probably remember that completely wrong. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's more than I thought the mole had, honestly. So that's not bad. That's not bad.
So the reclaimer, reclaimer is 420. I remember that completely wrong. But I would expect this to probably have at least half of the reclaimer. That would and even then though, if you're going from 12 on the Vulture to 96 on this, and then 420 on a reclaimer, that is still a big jump. That's at least 4 or 5 times the Vulture. So I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. There's probably room somewhere between whatever this is and the reclaimer still, but I think that would make sense. If this could do like 90 something SCU of RMC and stuff, I think that would make sense, and I'd be fine with that. So the ship scale doesn't matter then. It just more matters if it's worth it to organize the people to go out in this particular ship,
and if it uses the regular pods, like say the saddlebag system. Now we haven't seen that in another salvager. We haven't seen them using saddlebags. But let's just say, for example, it did have saddlebags. Now, the current mole has 1 set and then 2 extra sets. So that would actually make it 96 times 3, but you can only hold 96 at the same time. So that would be really, really interesting. But I have to assume, being every other salvager doesn't do that, because, again, look at the Fortune. It lost the bags. I'd have to make the assumption that they're removing the saddlebag system.
Because you know what the first videos are going to be when this thing comes out. You're going to have people going out and testing. Does it make more sense to take this out with 2 friends and load up in terms of like profit made, or does it make sense to go out in a Vulture and do multiple runs? People are going to do that comparison, and that's sort of what's going to come down to this ship for a lot of people on if it's worth it or not.
Look, at the moment, I wouldn't even consider taking the Vulture in the mix, just because I think the Vulture is just too small. The cargo capacity of it just doesn't equate. My question would be, is it better to take this with a couple of mates or the reclaimer?
Versus the reclaimer, yeah. That's another good way.
So I'd go the other way with the question rather than the downward way.
And I'm going to go completely outside that domain, and I'm going to say to what I said to you yesterday, Algared. I'm sick of these fucking variants. Just fucking open them. I am so open them. This is clearly another onboarding task, or if you think about it, as I said to Algared, right? We got 20. They said we got 24 ships last year, but if you actually break it down, it was more like I don't remember the exact number, but it's more like 5. The rest were all variants. So they're doing this.
I'll tell you, it's
because it's easier to basically, like, instead of getting 5 people to have to make a ship, you can farm it off to 2 people and they just modify a ship to turn into something else. That's why they're doing it, right? It's so obvious why they're doing it, because they can spread the people they have so much further, but it just feels cheaper and shittier. I'm sorry, it just does.
But one thing I will say about this versus the mole is that I actually think this hull and function design makes more sense for salvage than it does mining, meaning
Agreed.
that would be a good ship for 2 or 3 people to all focus their salvage beams on one big ship that's being salvaged, right? Versus the mining, where you can do that to a rock, but it gets a little weird. So this may be the better of the two industrial variants of the mole.
Well, like, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And if the variant that was to go, it would actually be the mole, in my opinion. I agree with you 100%. Because we've all seen the like it was a ship of its age. It's again like as they were learning. But the biggest problem with the mole, right, is 9 times out of 10 is you need the 3 turrets to crack the rock, and then after you crack the rock, there's people just kind of sitting there doing nothing while they're waiting for the other person to scrape it up and stuff. There's a lot of waiting on the ship for someone else to do something until there's enough little rocks that you can all start picking them up. It's just a very stagnant thing. It almost like it needs like a power and let's look at the most common loadout is the central turret with a helix and then the 2 on the outside with a Hofstadter. Why is that? Because the middle one can give power to the other turret just so it can crack the rock. But again, as I said, once you've cracked that rock, you don't really need the helix anymore. And so what happens is the helix person has the mods installed that basically do all the pickup. So all the other guys are just breaking the little rocks and all that other so again, you are palming off these little odd tasks to people, but everyone's waiting for someone else to do something. It's just really weird how it's done. And again, you can see they almost learnt that on the Arastra, because the Arastra drops back to 3 turrets as well. You know what I mean? Like, because they were like, well, we don't want to go any more, because if we go any more, it's going to be even worse. So yeah, I just find it like you really don't need more than 2 turrets on a ship. You really don't for mining. You just don't. Anyway.
Yeah, my question is also with this ship: does it have a 3rd salvage turret, or is it just? Does it have that lower pilots?
It's there. You can kind of see it. It's got some kind of 2 bins on the outside though, as it rotates left and right.
I just wanted to rudely interrupt, but I will be back a little bit later for you guys. I have to run, but I just wanted to pop in and give my opinion on that.
No worries.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, well, I was saying before you go, Graham, I woke up to 20 messages from you and Trispone, so I haven't even got in there to look at them yet. So I'm sure you, me, and Tris will have a talk later. All right, catch you, bro.
We will.
Right.
Later, guys.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's bittersweet in my opinion. Like I completely agree with Grim. This is the better variant of the 2 variants. It works better for salvage. But makes me wonder if they're going to go back and do a gold pass on the mole, but I just don't think they will.
Yeah. I even look at it. I think of the lineage of Argo, what Argo are doing, and mining to me was never in their wheelhouse. That was kind of where that come from.
Yeah.
But salvage, based on the idea of they were fixing up the rail systems, it kind of feels like salvage fits more with that repair aspect. So salvage and repair kind of seem to work better than the mining and refining it. So for me, this is again just reiterating what
Pops agrees with you. He's like you. He prefers salvage over mining. You know. And I'm going to be honest, salvage is easier than mining. It just is, you know. It just takes time. It's a lot less stressful. But also it leans itself more into multiple people doing it. My hope when the mole came out was they were going to change it somehow to really be more useful for multi people, because really you can tell they kind of designed it around the prospector. And then when they rolled it out to the bigger ships, they were like, oh shit. And it just doesn't work that well on bigger ships, right?
Yeah.
So again, I look at something like the Orion, right? And you look at the Orion and you go, well, I don't want that to be on the mole. I want it to be like when it's eating these massive rocks, I want it to be different. So again, when we come to underground mining, I think they really just need to design it for multi-crew. I think surface mining was really designed for a more solo team, like a prospector. And I reckon when we see them come around and do as I said, the under the surface and the Orion, they will be designed for multiple.
Well, here's a thought regarding the Orion.
Fingers crossed.
Here's a thought regarding the Orion. We've got coming in the next few patches the the big asteroid breaker missions.
True.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the idea of that asteroid breaker kind of gets a smaller version on the Orion.
Maybe. It's more about it's more about powering up the facility. So I'd probably disagree, but I see the thought process. Oh, that you're going down.
You know, the idea of the thing that crushes the rocks and using that.
Maybe more like
for...
the machine that you turn on works a little bit like that. I can see where you're going there.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not the thing itself, because that's a station. But
it'd be interesting to see, because the one they show in the thing is like a laser thing, and the Orion is like teeth munching with that arm thing on the top. So I honestly don't know. I can see the thought process is all I'm going to say, because I probably don't agree, but I can see what you're thinking. Yeah, I can see what you think.
Yeah. And remember, the Orion is also a very old ship design, so
clearly going to get a bit of a an upgrade, because you look at it compared to the Arastra, and it's completely an older design now. Yeah, I agree.
And you look at it and you also look at it in terms of what they were expecting it to be, and then as technologies change, does that mean the approach they use for doing that changes? So
yes.
Yeah, lots to go with.
Yeah, so I'm running with the name the Vol, because instantly, as soon as you say it, you know it works with the mole. I don't think that'll be the final name. I've got no idea. Let's be honest. Every time we try and guess this thing, we're completely off the mark. The Vol just works on a lot of different levels, doesn't it? Because I say Vol, and you instantly go, "Oh, that's like the mole." So I think the Vol's just a good one to go with, at least if we're talking about it in the meantime. So that's the name I'm going to run with until someone gives me the proper name. And if it's anything like CSVFM, we're going to have words. Creative team. No, never again. And no more M something C. Triple acronyms of the same thing. That was annoying as shit too. So yeah, your acronyms are bad. Don't use it. Don't do it again.
Now, Hook in Twitch says mining for me as well. Salvage needs refining, in my opinion. And then ATM Papa Francis says Salvage already has refining. It does, but it doesn't. Like, you get the RMC and you make stuff, but there's no way to actually purify it and make it a higher grade. Or better.
Which is again, it's probably why you're losing so much of it when you craft something, because it's impure or something like that.
It's tossing out all the garbage. And
you and I were talking about this last night, and we probably reckon there will be some kind of like mini refinery system added to the reclaimer at some point. Yeah. Luna Maria has been counting the days till you come back, by the way. So I know she had to put up with me, but now you're back. She just all over you again, right? Yeah. So no, he's back.
Well,
I know she'll be happy to have you back. So yeah, right. Yeah. So I did talk about the names, didn't I? There's something else.
You did talk about the names.
Something else I've forgotten. Hang on. While we're waiting for questions to come in. Oh yeah, I've got to do that. Yeah, I think I've got crafting to talk about, but maybe I'll leave that.
We do have crafting to talk about.
Well, we might leave that for the weekend, and we'll do, because we're going to do an episode with Bops on the weekend. But the other one I want to go with you specifically, and we could have done an episode on this too, to be fair. But with all the stuff that's going on, I know we're not going to get to it. So I think we'll just go in game, and you and I can go through it now. I feel like I've done this already. Ops though, with you, and I don't think I did it on the live stream. But anyway, no, I did it on his stream, but I didn't do it live with you, so it'll be.
Now, there is. I'm going to give people the reminder. If you have a question you'd like to ask us, please put question in with your question, because while we do pay attention to your chat, if it's got question, it goes into our bot, and we will answer those questions. We will go through every question that comes up.
Zeres should know this by now.
I'm going to answer your question now, though. He says, is there a possibility the Orion will shrink? My answer to that is no, because they actually doubled the size of it because it felt too small.
Yeah, and they've already worked a lot on the inside too. We know that from the last time we saw it. They basically showed it in a form of grey box to us way back when. So I would say it's probably changed a little bit, but I don't think it will be a size change. I think it's going to be more like how it works gameplay-wise. Kind of like how the claw on the Reclaimer changed. And I think you would admit, too, looking at the claw on the Reclaimer, even though it's kind of only three...
like that.
Yeah. But the claw on the reclaimer is even still somewhat similar to the claw on the mole. They are similar in their mechanics.
They do look similar. Now, and that raises the question, is it going to be just the same thing, or are they going to develop something, a further action for that? And I know they had said it was something I was still looking at in terms of trying to work out how it was going to do, and it was just a stop fix, but yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing in game? Well, you'll notice the new loading screen area. You seen this before? No.
I did see. I haven't seen that. I've been in, but I haven't. Yeah.
Well, kind of like what it says on here, we're going to the museum. We are going to go have a look at the Aurora. It came in the game earlier this week.
Yep.
We streamed last, and I did send you.
I did notice.
I sent you a little quick video on it. I don't know if you watched it.
I also did notice in the ISC it did talk about the Aurora getting its gold pass and having its components and all shoved in it, so that was nice.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to be looking at now. And I just thought it would be interesting to go over it with you because obviously, did that video?
We wondered where the parts would, the components and all things went.
Do you have a skin preference?
And I also did like the livery was out as well, so that was also very.
Do you have a skin preference?
Come on, old man Hurston.
Yeah, I thought so. I'd already selected in my head. I was just waiting for you to.
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Alrighty.
Vehicle selected. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location. Your vehicle has been moved.
But I have always liked the Aurora. Like when we created the Crux Cup, we actually created the Aurora Classic.
The hell?
Just so that we could have a starter ship, and it still exists. We still have the Aurora Classic race.
No.
Only Auroras can go in. Any Aurora, as long as it's an Aurora.
No bugs at all, guys. No bugs at all.
There's never bugs.
Bugs. No, the ship just instantly spawned on the pad, and the elevator didn't go down and come back up, and now the lights won't turn back on. Yeah, great. This is going to be really annoying because I wanted the lights. But I might have to take off and land again because I need the lights.
Yeah, the lights make all the difference.
Yeah. Someone pointed this out to me yesterday too, and I can't unsee it now. But while we're on this screen, and you and I are kind of in the way for the audience. The audience, you'll just have to kind of trust here. But look at the two screens on the left and the right. They're not in alignment. This one that I'm on is further back. So look at the bottom here, and then look at the bottom. Put your finger over where the bottom is there, and you'll clearly see it's lower down than this one. You got to do your finger sideways, bro. Sideways. Finger sideways.
There.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, and yours is kind of a bit higher.
So,
it feels like it's a bit higher.
Yeah, and so long story short, this one is further back and yours is further forward, but they're also not. So they're the screens are symmetrical at the top, but then also the bottom bits on the bottom of the screen are different. But someone else pointed out to me, and it was driving him batshit because they're not symmetrical. Yep. And I've realised he's right. They're not symmetrical. They are just slightly out of whack.
You look at it. The one on your side sits higher than the bar than the one on my side. My one's flush with the bar, whereas your one's sitting higher.
Yeah, so someone stuffed up somewhere. And they basically probably need to be symmetricized, or you're going to drive everyone batshit.
No, they're going for that asymmetry.
Oh, the light turned on, so I don't have to do that.
Oh, there you go.
So what I'll do though is I'll get out now, and we'll go around. So, that camera snapped. Right. So straight off the bat, you have these weapon storage areas. So this is for like a pistol and a small gadget. This one is like a SMG sized weapon.
Nice.
So they're both interesting and new, obviously. So this, I think this
Definitely new.
I think this whole bottom bit here is new, because also down here, this is no longer like an arm. It's called a shock limiter. So it holds the style of the old one, but if you remember how the old one went, it was different. Then you've got your first component area here, which is a door that slides out, and it has your
in between the wings. Yep.
Yeah, cooler, and I believe this is going to be the battery or grav generator, and on the other side it's a cooler and life support.
Does it really need a grav generator?
I think they're adding grav generators to all ships now. It seems to be a thing. And then you got the shields here on the back, and it's exactly the same on the other side. You'll also notice that when we go for a fly, they've redone a lot of the thrusters. So there is a, I don't know if I can show it here, but there's a double thruster. Oh, there's the bottom one. And there's one on the top, and they basically kind of like dovetail. And you'll see what I mean when I when I take off. It's folded them up, but the fans are in the arms and they're working. So I can turn those on, and you'll see the blades spin around. And then then down here they have the, I'm just gonna find it again. Where is the button? I always lose it. There it is. Oh.
Where is that button? It's impossible to find. Quote from Princess Bride.
Oh, there it is. And this is the radar and the fuses. But for some reason they're invisible at the moment, so that's interesting. They were not invisible yesterday. They are today. And then all the major components like the power plant, the warp drive, all that type of stuff is actually on top of the ship, and you've got no way to access it. You can kind of see why they've done a Mark II. So it is theoretically like what you and I said, where they don't have enough room for the components, but they found a way to make it work, but it's really super inconvenient. I believe it's over here, open exterior, and there most of them, so I think it's 5 or 6 of them along the back of the top there. And there's just no way to get up there, or at least yet. I thought they would have made it so you can this would be my fix. I don't know what the other vehicle was, but remember the one we pressed and the little ledge came out, and then we could jump up on top, and it took us ages to find? Well, I'd kind of do that here, mate, because this ramp's always going to be here. Just have it so you can jump up onto the engine.
Have a step so you could...
And pull yourself... Well, you got the ledging thing. You know, you can pull yourself up onto ledges. So just make it so you can pull yourself up onto that, and then you're on the roof, and then you can... Because if you're out in the middle of nowhere, how are you going to repair yourself? You've got no way to get on top, so you can't... That, or they have to add a ladder of some description. I think that's all led to the Mark II, basically.
Yeah, look, if you're in a hangar... I think the changes to components you're doing by, the idea would be you're doing it by your maybe glass, so you're doing it in hangar, so you don't need to. It's an automated process in that sense. If you're in space, you're just DVAing. If you're on the planet's surface, well, you're screwed.
Yeah. Ocean 911 says jetpack, but again, you don't want to have to take a jetpack as a beginner starter ship to fix your ship. So I can see where all these issues are coming in. But Algared's right. Yes, you can repair in space, but then if you're broken down on a planet, well, you're really screwed, aren't you? How are you going to get... You just can't get any help.
I suppose you use your 20% repair option.
What if... Yeah, but that only works on one component. So if you've got two, you're stuffed. Again, no matter how you look at this... If you could just get on top and you have your little multi-tool and you put in your repair thing, and you can fix it by 20% yourself.
Yep.
That's my whole point. Like, so they just need some way to get on top of this thing, and I think it will be what I'm talking about. That's just the simplest option, because you don't have to remodel the ship at all. All you do is make it so that's a ledge that you can pull yourself up onto. Problem fixed.
You can mantle up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see a double mantle on onto the side, up onto the first wing, up onto the second wing.
We've got mantling on other ships like the Valkyrie and the Asgard, and I know they didn't add it to some of the ones they should, but like the TAC. But again, they need it.
Yeah, it's almost the same problem we had when we were looking for and the difficulty we had getting on top of the Wolf to find the components on the Wolf.
Shinobi Trip had a really good idea. He said, what if I assume you mean reconfigure, but I get the idea of what you're saying there, Shinobi Trip. Reconfigure the stairs so they turn into a ladder so you can climb onto the roof. That actually would work. So just have that literally turn straight up vertical, and then you just climb up it and go onto the roof, and fold the stairs back. Yeah, that'd work. That's the other option.
Yeah, and if you got stairs on each side of a ship, then make it even fold up and go in front of a door.
I don't know if they'd go low enough, but maybe you could make it so they animate up and down as you climb up them. So it's like a elevator ladder or something. I don't know. But no matter how they've looked at it, it requires something new, and that's why they haven't done it. But yeah, that's my only issue with it now is you just can't get to those components to access them. But like a lot of the other ships have this same issue too, where you can't get on top easily, but there's usually a way you can climb up there. Like you can, you know, jump onto it or something like that. But usually you've got to get someone to fly the ship so you can get onto it as well. So it's not the only ship that has this issue. So it's probably why they're not going to worry about it. But it is a real shame, as it really drops the ship back as a starter quite significantly. So unfortunately,
well, it is a starter, but it's actually nice to see. Yeah, a nice little deployable ledge to vault up to, like the Salvation, as Jackie Catburn says. Others see the same type of raising the same types of things. It'd be nice to be able to get to your components. I think every ship. The component should be accessible, and if you can't actually get to the area where they're opening, it's a problem with the ship that makes it. It almost breaks the ship.
So here's
I know you can do it. Yes, you can do it in space, but
so Algared, here's the fans. Oh wait, I got to turn it. Oh damn it. Okay, sorry. There's the fans.
Yep. That's all I'll say.
They do look really cool. I actually like them quite a bit, and you don't have to kind of wait for. I wonder, you know how you kind of get the drag with the other VTOL? I'm hoping that the advantage of these is they don't have the drag. So they're this happy middle ground between VTOLs and that. So I'm really interested to see fans appear on other ships, because right now you've really only got them on the Connie and
is it really an RSI thing? I think it was only the Connie and the Aurora that has them.
Yeah.
The problem, I think, which is always going to be with the fans, is that if you're in a low atmosphere area, the fans aren't going to be as efficient as on a high density atmosphere. Bit like when they've been doing the when they were trying to work out the little drone copter for the Mars landings, that the problem was the atmosphere was so light they had to work the fans to the rotors to be
spin a lot more,
whatever it was.
Well, again, that's a drawback to them, isn't it? So in some atmospheres they'll be way better, and others they'll be worse. So again, choice.
Or you may be overclocking them, which means you'll burn them out more and need more repair. Blah 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 blah. So.
So yeah, that's all I really kind of wanted to show you. It's I think it's in a good state. Better than I thought. I really keep thinking now the Mark II is going to be an advanced starter. I think it's going to be there. Like it's going to have more internals to it, like more like the Cutter. Is kind of where my brain keeps going.
Machine,
or something like that. I think it's going to be like, if you look at the newer starter we've seen, they're just on a higher quality level. So take this, put it on a higher quality level, and make it the advanced starter. And I've even heard people say, oh, they'll make it wedged like the Zeus. Which going from the Mark I Zeus to the Mark II, that is a drastic difference in change, is it not? So if you modernize this, wouldn't it become wedge-like?
But the Zeus was kind of wedge-shaped in its original form. It was
not
kind of
really.
More...
It's more the Dragonfly. It's more like the one VMXCO did. It's more like it's the closest thing you've got to an ornithopter in the entire game. So again, I think what this is going to be is the older design from maybe 700 years ago, and the Mark II is like in the last 100 years. Everything. That's where my brain's going. And what they do is much like the Zeus Mark I and the Zeus Mark II, or the Connie with its 6 different marks. It's just an updated one that takes it into a completely different kind of size class. So it goes from starter to advanced starter. and we don't have an advanced starter from RSI, so it makes a lot of sense. But again, we're not going to have long to wait. They said it's going to be out in the first half of this year, and I assume that it's going to be the starter ship that drops around IAE. So, not AIE, sorry, Invictus. Worse for
yeah, unfortunately, as our chat is lamenting, when the Mark II comes out, they'll kind of sweep the Mark I under the carpet.
Yeah, pretty much.
A bit like they did with for Hornets, I think, and that's
well,
one of the things that concern me.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they will sweep it under the carpet. I think because if they were going to, so look at it this way, if they were going to upgrade it to a Mark II, they'd pretty much just give everyone a Mark II and be selling that as the new one. But I think that's not what they're going to do, because I think it's going to drastically change so much that it's going to get internals and all that type of stuff that it becomes an advanced starter.
Yeah, and I suppose one thing that goes against that idea of sweeping it under the carpet is the fact that it is the most owned ship in game.
Yeah, and they want to make more money, so they are kind of actively want to encourage you to upgrade to the Mark II. So yeah, but it's totally functional. In its state, it's totally functional. You can play the game. I think the biggest problem I have with a lot of the missions now when I go out and test them as a noob is they clearly need some way to kind of balance them per the ship that you're in, or more scaled. So you go out and do the Gauntlet mission number 1. You can complete them. Boy, they take a long time. Because you, like, especially when you go up at that prospector at the end, and they don't like die. The ships kind of just seem to stop working, because you kill them with so little damage that they just kind of stop moving. And I'm like, did I kill that? And then it's not until the tech
soft effort or
exactly. And so like, and you can't break the engines off at the moment because of the way engineering's working and stuff like that. So we're in this weird state at the moment. And it's the same thing with I took John Citizen out to do the new mining missions, and it's the same thing. Like, you'd assume that you can do that whole mission in a golem. Now you can, but it's way more difficult because the rocks in the preceding area that they send you to are so massive that I could barely break them with a prospector that had a new laser on it. I had to put a thing on the rock, and then I also had to use modules. So I actually had to use every single thing that I knew on the ship above the ship that I expected to use it on to pull it off. Now I thought I'd be just walking up and hitting any rock with a golem and it would work. No. So those missions, it is a massive problem. But when you do it with Salvage, it's not the problem, because Salvage is just so it's almost like they designed the missions for Salvage, but didn't look at them for mining. And I thought I was crazy. So again, as I said, I took out John, and John picked up on it as well. And even the caves they send you to, because it says in the description, go to local caves and find the 3 rocks for the hand mining mission. Well, the first one we went into, it had Hadanite and a Forite, but it didn't have Dolvine. The next one we went into, it had a Forite and no other rock except one Jalonite. Now, if you know Jalonite, when you're on the PT, it's worth like 30 mil for one Jalonite rock. And so it's really rare. But why was that in the cave and not the Dolphine Festonite? So
not the one that you were actually sent to get at that cave.
So the propagation, there's probably something wrong with the propagation code where they can't morph it the way they want to morph it or something like that. But
But I think you're right. You want the mission to scale. Like when you take the mission, there's got to be missions. Yeah. There's got to be tasks that enable you to take the mission for a ship that you've got. Well, and I did that. I know they did that with the cargo. Like when they first started the cargo, that they had the 6SU, the 8SCU. So you could take a smaller ship and do the smaller missions. But very soon, when you were doing those, the delivery missions in Stanton, very soon they went up to a higher level where you just couldn't you couldn't take a smaller ship and do them. It was just too.
And again, with the hand mining tools, they did say in the local area. So we were able to scan around and we found Festonite, but there was just no Dolvine in the local area. So again, but you go out and do the salvage missions, none of those problems. They just don't exist. So it's purely just, and it's just finding the rocks. It's not, I can't find a rock to do it with the golem properly. I could barely find a rock to do it with the prospector, and the really annoying thing is you got to do a hand mining tool mission to unlock the ship missions. So you can't even do the ship missions. You've got a golem. You've still got to go out and do it with a hand tool before you can proceed on to the other one. Now, I understand that they're doing that from a noob's perspective, but again, if you're stuck on a mission that you can't do properly, it's aggravating. And they don't tell you.
And it just makes people go, I'm done.
Yeah, and because it's a beginner mission, they don't tell you about the, how to put things on the rock, or the modules, or changing your laser. None of that you would expect. And I had to do all of that. I would almost assume that that's the next 3 or 4 missions. Oh, by the way, did you know you can put a thing on the rock that you buy at this shop? And then the next one's like, oh, by the way, did you know that you can change your laser head and it has all these different effects? And we're going to give you this one for you to try, and then, and oh, you can put a module on your head, and all these modules do different effects. Here's 3 different modules. You got to try out all the modules and all of a sudden you'll notice you can get different rocks. None of that.
Well, I'm sorry, I got to cut you off because you know who we got to blame. We got to blame Elliot.
I don't think it's all Elliot. I think it's more not having the tools to go that in depth in the missions yet.
But that's the type of thing you want in the mission, though, isn't it? You want the mission to be the absolute bare base. You go in and then you come back and say, oh, well, now we want to do this one, but you'll probably need to add, add this device. Yeah. You can either buy it at the shop or here's one charge for you to help you on your way. It's that type of the progression that actually teaches the levels to someone who's brand new. And it's when it's not there and you go out and you try and do it and you just get frustrated and you go. So yeah, I say blame Elliot, but it's.
I think it's more a tooling problem. I bet you if Elliot was here, he'd basically be saying, we don't have the tools to do those missions yet.
That's always what he says. I don't have the tools to do it.
But that is what it is. I know it for a fact.
True, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely, because they haven't created. Well, why do you reckon the missions are all kind of the same at the moment? It's because they don't have the tools to make those missions. It's that simple. The other stuff, yeah. He is a mission design team. They can only operate within the tools that they have. They don't go make the tools to make the missions. They make the missions with the tools they have. So if you kind of think about it, they've actually got to.
We blame Elliot in jest.
Yeah, but you've got to kind of sit there and learn the tools to make stuff. So they're actually learning the tools and then working within what they've got. So yeah. Old man Hurston is back. Yes, Hold Man.
Yes, Hold Man. Hold Man.
Yeah, he's got to hold his walking frame. Hold Man Hurston.
Hold Man Hurston. Yep.
People on their phones. Hilarious.
Yep, phones are a curse.
Right.
Siri or Alexis or whatever it is will change spelling just because they think it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so we're about an hour in. Yes. We've got a bunch of questions to go through, but also feel free to get some more questions in because we will chew through these in the next 2 hours. So,
Ziggs 79.
Yeah, go for it.
Says, we know the Clipper can craft size 1 components. What else do you think it can craft?
Anything that's relatable to size 1. I would say, having looked at the crafting in the test, that it is an item crafter. The other crafters seem to be like liquids and food. So I would assume that it is an item crafter, so you can make weapons, armor,
choosers.
Yeah, anything that's an item, basically, as long as you've got the material to do so. And it really does make it very versatile. And I would reiterate the game Eco. In fact, I'm looking at starting another game of that up with all the Inforunners boys if we can, and get all our communities in, because that is 100% the crafting system we're getting. It is very, very similar to right down to the quality of the materials and stuff like that. And, the talk that you and I had on it very quickly spiraled very quickly, didn't it? I don't really want to.
Yeah, we need to stop talking about this because it'll.
Yeah, it's an episode.
It's an episode.
I was very quickly trying to contain it. Now it's like unpack, and I'm like, no, put it back in the box. Put it back in the box. And all the packing.
Let's hit up.
The packing beans were going everywhere as Agrid's just pulling them out of the box. I'm like, no, put the packing beans back in the box. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was trying to contain it because it was very quickly. You could see how large it was going to become. Trying to unpack it in one go. But we will probably try and unpack this weekend with Bobs because you can see where it's going, and it's. I think the thing that we kind of agreed on.
Bobs is quite.
The thing that we agreed on is it is a very simple to learn system, but you can see the complexity to learn it because you've got to know a lot of it as a skill-based system. So it's what you know, not. You can just stay in the middle and you're kind of fine. But when you go out to those fringe edges, it becomes this extreme. And you got to know when to use the extreme and when not to use the extreme. And that's a knowledge-based system, which is right on par with the rest of the game. Yeah, it's very clever.
Yep. And Slick Core, this is pre-recorded.
Yes.
Definitely pre-recorded. Yep.
Right. Who's next?
Okay, so that's that question.
Yeah.
The next question is from Cooler575, who says, if what Space and you say would be true, our character and the javelin would have been vented. That did not happen. You just collapsed. What happened to the woman? She would have been the same.
Well, that's the thing. They should be vented. They really should have been. And I think that's a part of the problem. Like they're a little bit inconsistent with their own.
Maybe there's a small air shield, or maybe as it's done, they quickly get tracked and pulled into the rescue ship.
Again, at the moment, it's only a theory, and I didn't come up with theory, but I think it's a cool idea because again. If you look at the other side of it, we were told that we would have fully cut. You'll remember when he said, "Oh, you walk into a bathroom or whatever, and you'll look in the mirror, and then you'll describe what you look like, and that'll be what your character looks like." Well, at the moment, there's just presets, and you pick one. So that's not what we were told.
I could see that. You're in the hospital. You've waking up in the hospital, and you're looking in the mirror, and you're all disfigured, and you're actually changing your face. And
yeah. So again, that's just what we were told back in the day, that you'll be able to craft your character, and also you do a will or to your next of kin and say who so you essentially create the name of your next character while you're playing that character. So we'll see how that all pans out.
And then when you die, and one day instead of waking up in the hospital there, you'd come to and you'd be at the funeral and going, oh crap.
If anyone's got the sneak peek, like, has it come out yet? Because I don't have the email. So people are talking about the sneak peek, but I don't have the sneak peek. So if anyone's got it, feel free to shoot it to me on Discord if you've got the email.
Now, apparently we are wizards at AI, because Sangroper was saying pre-recorded. Wait, I thought it was AI.
Well, after you died, I had no way else to get you back, so I just had to use the technology. AI, it was that, or you would have looked like a complete, robotic skeleton like the Terminator, and I didn't have the technical know-how to pull that off, so I just went with AI. Maybe we should start talking like the ones in Back to the Future, and now they did AI, and it was like a scattered VHS tape. It was ridiculous, but it was
a bit like Vandal, the Vandal ship consoles when you turn them on. Like,
it was just kind of strange. I still, I've never seen it done any other way than they did it in that movie. It was just kind of funny. I don't know if the sneak peek's actually out yet, but I don't have an email, so but often I get the email a lot later than other people. I don't know why. If someone's got a copy of the sneak peek, feel free to shoot me a link, because I don't have it, and I'll check the website real quick, but I don't think it even comes up on there. But yeah, Agrid, do you want to do the next question?
Yep. Cause575 says, in regards to the Mass Effect series, I doubt it. The pod and the javelin was vented and nothing happened to both. Also, what happened to the woman? Which I think is basically the same question we just answered, but different person. Or same person, just on different server. But yeah, good question, good thought. Again, it was just a theory. and a possibility. I kind of like the idea, but
it was literally exactly the same person because you didn't tick off the question. You are officially getting old, sir.
No, I did. Cool. First one was Cooler 575. This was Cos 575.
That's one person on YouTube and one person on Twitch. The same person.
Yep. That's what I just said. It's a possibility. Anyway, Nightbot. No. Nightbot. Nope.
Before you go on, I found some more stuff to talk about.
Okay, awesome.
In case you missed it, sale has dropped.
Yes.
So this is the class. They call it the class of 2025. Variant, new, variant, newish, variant, new, variant, technically, variants, variants, and variants.
Well, Medivac, the Medivac was one of those.
Well, they're both variants of each other, but yeah, one of them's new. Yes, technically.
But yes, not many really new ships.
I can't really recommend any of them because they basically don't have LTI in this sale.
Yeah.
So it's really just access to upgrades and CCUs type of thing.
Especially when you're looking at the ships that are a lot more expensive. And so really, as you said, this is a chance to get the upgrades to the ships you want.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's nothing like I think the ship that I may go back and get if I look at this is probably the utility. The more time that's gone on, the more benefits of that ship that I've seen because it's just so unique. But it's just so expensive for what it is. It's ridiculously expensive. But yeah, like I've got, like I can see the benefits of the other ships like the Asgard and stuff like that. But it's again, I'll earn down to something like that. And it's the same thing for the Aspiria utility. I'll just utility. I'll just earn. So the sneak peek on Discord. Thank you, Socially Confused. Was it to me. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the sneak
peek.
Why is this?
And I'm going to guess it's.
Are you sure this is a sneak peek? This is from a YouTube video, mate. Are you on the drugs? Are you on the drugs, Socially Confused? I just want to know if you're on the drugs, because that is a YouTube video thumbnail thing that you've sent me, not a CIG, and it's literally of the Apollo. I'm really confused. Did you copy paste me the wrong thing, bro? I got a feeling you've copy pasted me the wrong thing. You're sorry. Yeah, you should be fucking sorry. No, I was just kidding. I figured it out.
Now, calm.
Hey, I'm just joking. Calm down. But I'll wait till you send the next one through. I'm assuming you copied and pasted the wrong one, or you copy and pasted it and didn't take. That does happen with Discord as well. Fake news.
He said it was
there we go. Yeah, there we go. He sent the right one. All right, so here's the sneak peek. Here we go. Interesting. So different doors, vertical doors instead of the planny ones. You can now see the storage space. So everything we assumed is correct. They just took it out and put cargo space in. I believe that that's some kind of engineering terminal. And I also believe that there's some kind of module room there. That looks like a module door to me. Sorry, so you guys can see. That looks like a module door to me, yeah? Yeah, I think it's
big cavernous hold.
I don't think there's anything left to crack here, to be honest with you.
No.
I assume that it's potentially data running in the back, or let me throw this out there. There's a third variant. This is purely just, but again, unless it's modular, right? Because the other thing you'll notice here is look along these walls. It's got the data
things that look like the data.
So what if there's modules for the Hermes and you can have cargo or you can have data modules? That's the modules for this, because they've always said data is cargo. So can you have data as cargo or cargo. And so you pick whether you want a data module or you see where I'm going. I think that, and the thing I'm starting to realize too is these aren't down here either in this room. They're over there. Yeah, I'm starting to think that you pick a data module or you pick a cargo module.
I'll see.
So you could basically have data or you could have cargo.
Hook's saying there's nothing data there. He
Well,
says it's just window dressing. It's that kind of window dressing that was at the back of the Apollo. And when we looked at it, we thought, man, they look exactly the same as the data modules in other ships. They just don't have a light.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it could just be dressing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when we were going through the Apollo, it made us think, yeah, that's a data ship.
It looks so much like a data running terminal. But yeah, you could be right. It could literally just be 100% a cargo ship. But for the name, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The name, the name is a data runner name. That's what's so if it turns out it's just a cargo ship, that is going to be rather disappointing because you used the wrong name. If that's the case, you shouldn't have used Hermes. You should have used anything else.
Because Hermes, messenger of the gods type thing, and that was the same thing. When I think Grimm said the same things. Paul said the same thing. Bob said the same thing. The very first thing I said to you when they said, "Oh, it's a data run," you came up with the same thing. Every YouTuber that we engaged with basically said the same thing, just based on what they were saying about the name. So
again,
we could be wrong. Absolutely.
But again, if they do, that is a massive swing and a miss. And Parker's saying CIG names often miss. Yeah, they do. But that I think everyone would agree that is a really big missed opportunity if that's not used for a data runner. Considering the Mercury and Hermes are the same god, one in Roman, one in Greek. That's just and they're literally one of the things they're gods of is heralds. So it's all interconnected. It would be almost, I'd have to use the word stupid. It would have to be stupid to use that name for anything other than a data runner.
It could, but it could still have physical cargo, but it's not a data runner of some aspect. It is, as you said, a missed opportunity. It just doesn't.
My brain is really going to it's got modules just like the medical beds. Yeah. But you can pick what type of cargo you put in it, right? So what if it is a cargo ship and it's got, so how many modules would you say is in the Apollo? Technically there's 3, yeah? Or they call it 6, 3 for the left, 3 for the right. But let's be honest, it's 3. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Now, if we were to convert that into cargo, that would be normal cargo, data. The third one that I come to, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, because this is, I'm pulling shit out of my ass here, a climate-controlled room.
Yep. No, climate-controlled room makes perfect sense. Like, especially when you've already got 2 rooms that are basically climate-controlled. So having a climate-controlled storage room, that would make the ship perfect for going to anywhere where you needed to have the cargo in a specific area, or a stasis room, or anything. Which doesn't mean it could, if it's in one of those rooms, doesn't mean if you're bringing quantanium, it's more stable because you're able to control the conditions it's in, or those types of things that are questions I get when I start thinking climate control. But we don't have the means to control, even on the 400A, you can't control what that room does. But it would be nice if you could.
Another really good point, Parker. The faster the light communication thing that's on the load screen, because they talked about it last loading screen and they talked about it this loading screen.
Yeah.
So that really chucks a curveball into data running, because it almost implies like data running is not really required so much anymore. But I think when you look at data running, it's moving secure data. You do not want to. You don't want to send, your nudes across so anyone can just pluck them out of the air. You'd want to have them securely transported. So the secure transportation of data, and then there's the one that anyone can hack out of the air.
Do you use airport Wi-Fi, or do you use, because it's free, or do you use your secure carrier's Wi-Fi? That's, I suppose, the difference, isn't it?
All right, so Socially Confused asked me to look at this. So this is his speculation, and I'm going to read verbatim what he typed so I don't get him wrong. This was on yesterday's ISC. Is this the Hermes? The view from the skylight looks different from the Apollo.
You'd have to go past the...
I want to go back to the original video now and enhance it in 4K. Hang on. And the Silver Fox is there. Right. I know it was the skin section, and that was the Aurora. Oh, we do have to talk about that too. Remind me about the Aurora skins later. We need to talk.
Yes. Yes, because there was a nice Aurora skin there that's
been
forgotten for a long time.
There's a skin. All right, well, let's just talk about it now because it's bugging me. And we'll come back to that. And it's this one. So this is the Electro Hull skin. Now, if you read the description of the Electro Hull skin, and I'll read it verbatim, word for word. The Electro Hull skin enhancement for existing Roberts Space Industries ship owners. So that's every single existing RSI ship. So at the time, that was this and the Connie. A very base minimum, right? And switch hull appearances at a flicker of a switch, including special skin to show that you've backed twice.
Yep.
So this needs to work on the Connie as well. At the very least.
Absolutely. And my first memory was that it was a skin for the Connie. In fact, that may have been in the big pack where you got a custom designed skin. It was for the Connie. So I could be wrong. But yeah.
A couple of first-time chatters that we've missed there. So Zapzilla said, yep, same guess, initially released with cargo module, data module released later. I'd say they'd probably try and sell them all at the same time. Like that's what they tend to do with module ships. I think back to the Galaxy. I know that had a couple of modules at the outset, and they talked about the one in the future. But I think if you're going to have a modular ship, you're at least going to have at least two modules. NV9 says, "Hey guys, do you think the Paladin is the best two-person ship in the game at that price point? Combat focused." Oh, that's. That really comes down to what you enjoy, because again, you know, I could drop back to another two-person like a tough one. I'd have to say it's reasonably priced when you put next to say something like a Scorpius. You're only looking at like an extra,
or a Hurricane, or
again, I got mine around $300, but now it's $350.
Yeah,
you know, and the Hurricane's also gone up in price too now. You see, so it's you know, the Shiva's probably the best budget one for two people, but it's really light and it can break pretty easily. But I really do like the Paladin. It's a really good ship, and you can get away with two people in it, can't you?
That's two Spike, Ice Spike. And the Prisoner, yes, it's AIL.
So long story short,
just a figment of your imagination.
The way that this skin has been pitched, it seems a bit wrong to me because they're making it out to be an Aurora skin, but it's an Aurora and at the very least a Connie skin. And it was always pitched that you could pick the two skins that you wanted and switch between the two. That's what the Electro Hull was. And now they're saying it's just a skin that you can turn on and make it look blue, or you can turn back to another skin. So it's half of what it was, and also now it's only for these particular ships, and now it's only for the Aurora. So if that's what they've done, I'm going to be having words.
Sucky, but...
Yeah, it's a bit sucky. It needs to at least work on the Connie as well, at the very bare minimum.
And the thing I like, the thing that I was remembering was they talked about it with a Connie. It was one of the, and I don't know whether it was fan base talking about using it with a Connie. But that was my memory, you know, just it being a Connie skin rather than just an Aurora skin.
But again, if I read that word for word again, the Electro Hull skin enhancement for existing Roberts Space Industries ship owners. Now, That can be taken two words: existing as in people or existing as in ships. Again, see the vagueness of it, right? Can switch whole appearance at the flick of a switch, whole appearance. So that implies that you can flick between two skins. Or does it imply you can just change to look like this and then go back to your normal skin? See the vagueness of it? It can be taken both ways, right? Including a special skin to show that you've backed twice. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's just a little weird how it's been done. So, you know, I think it's been kind of misinterpreted. Because for the longest time, when I brought this, I was told, oh, it'll work on every single ship in the game, and it'll allow you to have two skins that you can switch between. And you can see why they think that, but you read this again.
And if you read that again, it's not. And you'd have to look at, is that the original blurb for the skin that you're looking at?
Yeah, it is. And I'll send it to you directly. It was quoted, it's not on the site anymore. They've removed it. But I'm telling you, at the very least, no matter how you interpret that, if you interpreted it its absolute worst, this has to work on the Connie and it has to work on the Aurora. No matter how you interpret
the existing ships at the time that came out.
At the time. And I would imply, because you can also look at Robert Space Industry ship owners as everyone on the RSI website. See? Because it literally can be taken both ways. And I would say, because back then they were calling it RSI, the RSI website, weren't they? So you see where I'm going, right? It can literally be taken both ways.
But to counter that, because they often did their sales and things as in-game marketing, I would take it as referring to the in-game.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I also remember people talking about using it with Cutlass.
Algared, it's so obvious. They're going to take it in the way that requires them to do the least amount of work.
Yep.
And that means that this will work on the Connie, and it'll work on and this, and that's it. That's what they'll do, because otherwise they're going to make the skin work on every single ship, and then they're also going to make it so it can switch between any two skins on the fly, which is what everyone brought it for, because that's what they thought they were getting. And now it's just, it turns into a blue skin.
Yep. And everyone, you know, and I can remember, you know, Cutlass owners talking about having a ship skin and being able to use it to spoof
and smuggle. Well, that was the main reason for buying it, because if you were smuggling, you could basically go, oh, look, I'm a black ship. Oh, wait, no, I'm a red ship. Why everyone brought it back at the time, because it was like, and that's how everyone talked about it.
And same with piracy, you know, flying under false colors type thing. Oh, I'm flying under Hurston dynamic colors, you know, and then boom. No, I'm not.
And again, because so many people don't have this, it's never going to get loud enough that they do it the way that we wanted it to be done. So it'll just be the absolute minimum. Again, if they do offer it for sale, though, then we might get some people to make some noise. But let's be honest, if you actually think about it being able to do two skins, that can have gameplay repercussions. So I can see the pros and negatives for it.
Midgard 6806 says, you know, I bought it for the Connie. Yeah, a lot of people got it for the Connie. A lot of people backed twice to get it for the Connie. So,
so again,
you know, type of thing. So
the very here's another one. Bop's popped out. I'll see if I can find it. Hang on.
Yep. The
hang on. Nope. I'm just trying to get the right angle. I can't really get the right angle, but if you do it on your own monitor, these guys don't have any necks. They have no necks. It's literally just a helmet floating. There's no person in that suit. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but there's no neck.
Yeah.
And if you get the right angle, and I have seen images that people have contrasted up, whoever has done this, the characters have no necks. And you can kind of see it there. Like, you can just see the little wedge. He's got no neck. So whoever's been doing this, you don't even put characters inside the suits. So whoever's doing the cinematics, you need to put some people in the suits, please.
Or it's the graphics that that kill the characters, but whatever. Yeah.
And then all the old Where was it? Was it back earlier when they were talking about all the different missions? Maybe it was.
Maybe it was. Oh, that's something nice too.
Yeah. That'll improve. Oh, yes, it is near here because there it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It doesn't look
beyond the turret.
the turret.
The skylight was,
Yeah,
wasn't
but
it?
it's the same. It doesn't seem any different to me. It's just the same skylight as always.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's saying it's a different shape.
You'd probably want to highlight it and try and see whether you can actually see through into the ship. And
Well, I also don't have an
skylight or
Apollo.
not.
I also don't have an Apollo, so I have Citizen Apollo. Not Apollo. They sometimes have above shots. Here we go. Same. Left at the front, round at the back.
It looks like you got the bars that,
And then we go back here.
and you're going to see those bars that are going in. So the skylight looks the same.
Yeah, it looks the same to me.
It looks like it's a skylight.
And let's be honest, realistically, they're not going to show you Hermes up this close when they're doing an entire video on it next week.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
If there were major changes to it.
Yeah. So we've now confirmed Social Confused is drunk. Right, good to know. Stay off the liquor, please, bro. I'm worried about you. Yeah. Right. Someone else is messaging me shit as well. The weekly update in case you missed it.
Yeah. As Parker said, the back end of it might be bigger because we can't see it. But yeah, that's all speculation, and we'll find out next week.
So yeah, it is interesting to see that screenshot at the very least. I think that is very, very interesting.
Yep. Now to change a topic completely, our next question is from Simon Wolf. And Simon Wolf asks, does all the talk we were doing about salvage mean that a gold path on the Reclaimer could come sooner than later this year? I would love a gold pass on the Reclaimer.
I think it is a lot further down the road than people.
But I would tend to agree with you. It's a lot further, because it's such a big ship.
We literally did
work.
The episode that came out this week was literally on the Reclaimer. And it didn't view very well, by the way, like compared to the other ones that we pre-recorded. And I think it's because it just shows how bad the ship was in a state. People are like, oh, this is obvious. Why would I watch this review? But again, like we are very quickly walking into full rework territory with that ship. There are some major problems. Like, let's just look at the external ones, because as soon as you go to external, it implies that it's full rework territory, right? So you and I would agree. I'm just going to rapid fire some off. If I miss any, you add some. The front elevator's too fucking small.
Yeah.
The back elevator has got massively weird loading issues, and it just doesn't kind of work properly in the current game environment.
Yeah,
and it probably,
the doors are too small for the cargo that can actually fit in there.
It probably needs to be 30 TUS, not 16 SCU based as well.
Yep.
Right? It's a capital ship. It should be dealing with the biggest cargo. There's like multiple floors in the back that just don't need to exist on the internal side of it, which would probably condense the outside. And then that's just 3, and that's enough to start. Oh, the dock. It doesn't need the vertical dock anymore. That's another one.
Yeah, the vertical dock on the ship. Although that is very great if you fall out of a ship with a glitch and you can get dropped on.
And that's just 4 of them. Oh, and the docks on the back are not to metrics. They're not the capital docks or civilian docks. So they need to change as well. So when you add it all around and through, there's just a couple of different ones right there. And that's not even going into the inside of the ship.
Yeah,
right?
And that's not even including the fact that it needs some way for the snub or the whatever thing it has.
Well, it'll be John Cruz.
Function.
John Cruz said it'll probably be a special drone, and the drone's there, so right, so you can start to rule certain things out. But I disagree. I think it needs to be a ship because they said it was a manned craft, didn't they? Yep. Making it a drone is not a manned craft. You know, subject to change and all that. I know from back then, but it still leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. Because I thought I was getting a cutter, and now I'm just getting puppy chop drone, which is kind of shit, in my opinion.
Now, the prisoner says that they're not rushing to do gold standard on ships that function. That can function. That's true. The reclaimer can function and does quite a good job. But as engineering comes in, the fact that it doesn't have its components, the fact that it doesn't have other things really does limit what you can do to repair the things that get worn out. And that means you've got to be repairing at wherever you land. Wherever you land, repair. Mind you, I do that anyway. So, but yes.
From our perspective, it won't look like a full rework, right? But like essentially you're just removing the dock. But every time you remove something, if it goes between the outside and the inside, that you've got to unwrap things, you've got to retexture things, and it creates all these problems. So if let's just take that one example of the dock on the top. Now you remove that dock on the top. What does the room underneath have any validity existing? Right?
So it's an airlock.
So it's dead space. So do you turn it into something, or do you just leave it and it's there forevermore as a useless piece of shit? And I'm leaning on it's forever a useless piece of shit, because we've seen it in other ships, like the Hammerhead's front, where it's got all that cool. It looks cool, but it doesn't do anything, right? And then because if it was me and you, we would go back and turn that into a fully functional kitchen, would we not?
Yep. Or
a storage room.
Access to go into the fridge.
Like a climate controlled fridge or something like that. Or we just move the whole room across and make the whole room bigger, right? It just doesn't need that dead space. But again, they're going to do the minimum amount of work they have to pull that off. And unfortunately, it's going to make the reclaimer damaged goods forevermore.
And you could still leave a passageway on that side of the big large kitchen, so you've got the two ways around. But it as you said, it's dead space if you don't have that airlock.
It's never going to be the ship I wanted to do. Like, I'm slowly realizing it needs a full rework, but it's never ever going to get it. It's just going to be patchworked, and it's just going to languish, unfortunately.
And I'm going to jump down to Hudson Hawk's question from earlier, because they said, I love the Alien movies. And if you do too, would you swap the amazing reclaimer interior for something else? And I love that feel of Aliens in the reclaimer. And I hope when they do fix the reclaimer, they still pay homage to that alien-esque vibe.
I think we kind of talked about this a little bit in the review, but remember I said that
we did.
Like, they've got this really cool mechanical insect-like ship. Why don't we see that in another Aegis ship? And I suggested, like, because we've got the Penguin or the Avenger, we still need the one below that. So why don't they make something called the Ant, and it's like a one-man, whatever, it can be a professional starter, it can just be a ship that you fly around, but it uses that look because it's a really iconic look, and it's the only ship that uses that look. And I'd just like to see it reused somewhere else. And putting in a starter ship like a Generalist from Aegis kind of makes a lot of sense, because they don't. What have they got? The Vulcan and the Reclaimer, and everything else is military. So you're never really going to use that look anywhere else. And quite honestly, you can look at the Vulcan, and it really looks like it was an Anvil design, not an Aegis. So I'd like to see them reuse that look, and it's got a lot of tech in it that's only used in that ship, not used anywhere else. It seems like a complete waste. But anyway,
and the Reclaimer, when you break it up, it breaks into, certainly when you crash it or it's destroyed, it breaks into two, and you can't break it down any further. So it breaks the big abdomen part of the Reclaimer breaks off and is destroyed. And the front part just. Well, that's the bit you strip, you probably can't break it down any further.
You've probably answered the question a bit. Then the rework's going to have to come after Maelstrom. Just that simple.
So
till that's up and working, they're not going to redo the Reclaimer then.
But I wouldn't mind seeing the back section almost be a dockable thing you could do. But I don't know what you put in there instead. But
anyone in YouTube is on point. Freelancer is another one that needs way more than a gold pass. Well, realistically, the older a ship is, the more work it needs. So one of the things me and Algared have been saying for too long is those original ships. you know, the original 5 from the Kickstarter, if you go back to them and look at them, a lot of them have been reworked. The Aurora's now getting it. The Cutlass has had multiple reworks over the years. The Connie clearly needs one. The Freelancer clearly needs one. The Caterpillar clearly, and as you start to move out from there, we're now moving out of Kickstarter. The Retaliator got redone. The Starfarer needs to be redone. Yeah. Hornet got redone.
The original 5. The Hornets have been redone. The Orion, the 300 I's been redone. The Aurora, the Aurora's now been redone. The Freelancers have been touched, but they still need more. And I think the RSI, the Constellation needs more. So of those first 5, I think the Freelancers and the Connies really need to be brought up to speed a bit more. But
yes. So eventually, the Prisoner's pointing out the Mustang, but the Mustang technically was redone at some point. The Freelancers kind of been updated as well, but it's still just in a really bad spot. And the Connie's been redone too, but it's also in a really bad spot. So they've all kind of been touched up at some point, but they still need more work. And again, you got to remember those ships that they started with, they kind of learned as they went along how to make spaceships, right? So
let it ring. I can't get to it.
Someone calling you? Hot date?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Right. Next question. But yeah, just long story short, they will get back to fixing all of them and go past them all over time. So we just have to be patient. When there's 200 plus ships, it's not like they're going to be able to do it overnight.
Peace and Laughter on Twitch is echoing Paul. I think we need an updated Mustang beta with the cozy interior returned.
Absolutely agree with you.
Paul always regrets.
Again, you look at the Aurora, it's just not on the same level even as the Mustang beta was, right? And the biggest annoyance that we all talk about is that it used to land on its wings. They made it so it didn't land on its wings, and then the very next ship that they did for that manufacturer, the Sinu, was the Nomad, and it lands on its legs. So there's this.
No, it was even worse than that, though. Remember, the reason they gave it wheels was so that when you blew off a wing, you didn't have that invisible landing strut that was there.
Well, that's what
they gave it wings, and then they gave us a crab, which had the same problem.
Yeah, so they make all these excuses for changing things, but then they make the same mistake again and again. Essentially, is what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But I think the original Mustang it needs to go back to the original Mustang, land on its legs, and basically just make it hover. Because it was a far cooler design, it was far cooler and more iconic, and the new one just puts it in the realm of every other spaceship. And the same thing for the Amiga. Those people that brought the Amiga, taking the extra booster away, just devalued the ship and made it a skin for the Gamma, which was just, you can't promise one thing and then take it away just because you don't want to do that little bit of extra work. It's kind of annoying.
Look, and the Prisoner says, CR said it was easier to tow a ship with wheels. Yeah, it is, but just like the original World War II jet.
I would completely disagree with that comment, by the way. It would be far easier to tow a ship on a hover, but they didn't have the hover back then. So their whole thing was you can't, because it's going to be on the ground, you can't drag it. And so we'll then just make the ship hover and the problem's solved. It's essentially hovering.
Or you just drag it onto a trolley, like they did with the first World War II jets.
So clearly after they redid the Mustang, someone goes, what if they just hover? And then they made the Nomad. Thank you for the subscription with Prime Northern Tech Helmet. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
I always liked I like the way the Mustang landed on its wings. I would have made it to solve that problem of the blow off a wing you can't land. That actually landed on the hull like the Comet, and the wings were just balancing. But that's just me. And if you needed to tow it, I'd have put it on a little trolley. But yeah,
I think the fix though is to make it like the Nomad. Would you not agree with that?
I hate what they did before.
Oh, you cannot make Algared happy. Too bad. Basically what I'm hearing. I think the happy medium is just to make it hover.
That would be the easy fix.
Because then you've got multiple ships in the lineup from Sinu that have the same tech. Right now, the Nomad is this standout that has this tech that only vehicles have, right? And there's the only real hover thing that we have are the quad bikes, from Sinu.
Yeah.
I guess they've got it from Sinu, and then the Dragonfly and a few of the others. But there's no ship that has that tech.
There's no other ships.
Yeah, and
Hawk says, I think Hover died with the Nomad, and yeah, maybe. I think they tried to include that more with all that kind of tech with the alien ships as well. I would have expected to see that more with Mirai ships, or to a lesser extent in MISC.
Well, here's the other question: is it really hovering, or is it just invisible wheels that you can't see? That's the other part of it too, right? There's clearly a differentiation between hover bikes and ground bikes, right? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but very inconsistent.
Yep.
Right.
So,
next one.
Matt P1337 says, monthly report said the Galaxy started pre-production in November, yet they expect to release it next November. Has the pipeline shortened from 18 months to 12, or is RSI just kit time saving?
It's kit time saving, obviously.
And I think, like they've said, it takes 18 months. They may have sped it up. It might be they've done a little bit of other pre-production stuff in the past. Who knows what they're doing?
Because they've also said the Galaxy
is
coming this year. So
yeah.
And what if they'd already started some work on it previously? Because remember, it was meant to come before the Perseus too. So
I get what he's saying, because the monthly report said it's starting pre-production. So that could it be just restarting? Yeah, but who knows?
And that was also the November-December monthly report, and that's usually from the month prior. So was that the month of October?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just got so delayed that we didn't get it until now. So yeah. It's
yeah.
Right.
So hear about Paul Jones' game being victim of Ubisoft restructuring? Nope.
So Parker said that one. Paul Jones' game.
Yep.
Was that the remake of Prince of Persia? Is that what you're talking about, Parker? I heard that got cancelled this week at Ubisoft. They cancelled the Prince of Persia remake, and I'm going to put this out there for you, Algared. And I'm going to. This is a logic puzzle, and I want to see if you can get the answer. So think of the games that have come out of Ubisoft recently, how bad they've been, right? Just how bad did this game have to be that it got cancelled?
Really bad.
So you didn't want to play it. That's all I'm going to say. Like, if the last bunch of games they brought out were as bad, they were shockers, by the way. They were woeful. Skull and Bones, what was the Star Wars Outlaws? They were really, really bad. And they've made them better after they release, but at release though, you get one chance to impress. That's it, right? And so most people have moved on and they're never coming back. And now they've cancelled this one. Ooh, it had to have been bad.
So Parker says he's not sure what Paul Jones
what were the 7 games that were cancelled, please, Parker? The only one I heard about was the Prince of Persia rework, and I would have thought that would have been a very safe rework, because you just take the game you already have and update the graphics. So it's just like, you don't really need to do a terrible lot. But let us know the 7 games. Or next question, Aaron, if you like.
I'll just scroll back up. I was just getting rid of the Nightbot ones.
It'll be the one I just ticked by mistake. That one down there. So Dub Coyote says, would you like to expect a marketing for Squadron 42 to wrap up? We did talk about this in an episode. We're expecting February to Invictus, so it's like February to May. Sorry, in that time frame.
Yep. Short answer is yes. Draven's Shade. Do you think the Hermes will surprise us with being a generalist ship? With it being a generalist ship?
I think from the sneak peek, you can probably say it's not a generalist. I've got nothing that shows evidence that it has a fabricator on board.
Nope.
But
I can't see anything that says it's not fabricated from a sneak peek. Maybe it does.
I wouldn't rule out a module though. Like, again, I have to think the Apollo being modular, why wouldn't the Hermes be modular? I just can't get away from that.
If it's using the same hull and the Apollo is modular, is the Hermes a variant or different modules of the Apollo? If it's not, what modules does it have? Because as you're saying, 100% agree. And then what modules do you give it? Do you give it fabrication? Do you give it cargo rank? Do you give it data rank? Do you? So yeah,
Parker
100% agree with that.
Parker said the other games that were cancelled were never named, so it was probably a game that never saw the light of day.
Verge was the only game that was spelled out, but we know it's cancelled.
Hook 2005 says, will the whole DNA shrink? Well, technically they shrink when they fold up their their thing. But no, if you also listen to when they started telling you that they were too big to get to the amount of cargo they were meant to do, you had to have the spindles fold out like 3 or 4 times, and that's another reason why they shrank, because they just can't get that amount of cargo. Because again, it's old metrics versus new metrics, and it was always going to change. It was really obvious.
And I think the idea, based on the size of the ship they've got and the way the spindles are working, when they calculated that, that's why one of the reasons why their cargo dropped.
Well, they did try to.
I think is exactly what you just said.
Well, that's what he said. He said they tried to make it have that amount of SCU, and the spindles had to go back and forwards on themselves like 3 times. And right now they do it twice. 3 times would have been like it would have been crazy. So and how do you fit that into the ship? So it had to change.
So I think they went, we can do double. We'll stick it to double. What cargo is that? And that's what those ships came down to. That would be my guess, and I think that's what you're saying as well. So after Moonlight Delight,
you can Google you can Google that Afternoon Delight. Right, Alex Shear says
when a mummy and daddy love each other.
That's the type of question I would ask on someone else's stream. It's very inappropriate to ask it here. You only ask that on other people's streams, not here. Right. Alex Shear says, what do you think has better value long-term for real cash? A Constellation Phoenix Emerald LTI or a 600i LTI? What do you think has better long-term value?
For real cash.
That's like saying, what's got more value? Shit or poop? Like, there's this...
Look,
I'll let you answer that one.
As much as I do like the Phoenix, and as much as I love a Constellation, and I'd have to compare the prices of the ships because I don't know them offhand, but my gut says 600i.
It's like
because it's a variant, and it's a bigger ship.
It's like 400.
So you'll be able to do more with it.
It's like 400 and something for the thing, and it's like 300 and something for the Phoenix. I'll look them up now. Connie.
And if it's less than 100, I'd definitely be saying it's a 600i is the option. But in its current state, the 600i sucks. Too much wasted space, etc., etc., etc. But
I think you'd agree, Algared, both of them on a rework territory.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
But I always think, I think too much was promised for the Phoenix. And the only official rework we've got is the 600i. But I think most definitely the Phoenix is going to get some kind of rework. But is it ever going to get to where it needs to get to pull off that luxury thing? And I just can't see it doing that as a Connie. I think it's like I said, you've got to do the Buccaneer treatment and make it its own ship.
And I think it's hard because you've also got the concept that I've heard members of CIG say multiple times. It's got Chris's name on it. It's going to be a good ship.
Yeah. So this is the answer then, isn't it? Right? This is the answer. And you tell me if I'm wrong when I give this answer. Get a Connie Phoenix, have a CCU or an upgrade to the 600i.
Yep. That is the answer.
That is the answer. So 475 on the 600i Explorer, which I think is the more experienced one, and the Phoenix is 350. So you're talking about $100 difference basically between the two. I know the other one is if that's 475, the other one's $435 for the touring, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the touring is more expensive in game. But I think you would agree, Algared, based on the way they are in your packs, having one 600i, you essentially can just get the module for the other one in game. So probably buy the cheaper one.
I think the Explorer is listed as the Explorer module for 600i, not as a 600i Explorer.
Yeah, so I think we'll just say get the $435 one as your upgrade, and it would, if you really want, get a CCU upgrade from the Connie to the touring, from the touring to the Explorer, and just sit there and see what happens.
And then when it comes out, have a look at both and then make your choice.
And if you don't have the money to do that, then again, you can just get a CCU from the cheapest ship behind those and then fill in the gaps at another time when you've got more cash. If it's a cash flow problem.
Which would be an even better answer.
Yes. But there's no reason now, with all the mechanics that we have in the way upgrades and all that now, that you pretty much can't have your cake and eat it too, given time. And again, still think we've got a couple of years before that time closes off. 1.0 at the earliest type of thing,
Yeah, and I think if you're talking about gameplay now, I still prefer the Phoenix to the 600i. And so if you're talking about now in game, but if you're looking at down the future, get a Connie. That
just reinforced what we said.
Get the CCU.
So you got the Connie right now to use, and you can turn it into either or later down the track. But or buy it in game. Yeah, there's another one.
Or buy it in game.
I do think that the higher end luxury ships are going to be a bit of a grind, though. They are clearly going to be like a money sink. They are like a kind of end game thing. You're going to have other things to feed them because they're a luxury ship. So again, maybe earning them is the way to, buying them is the way to go. But again, if they're automatically a sinkhole off the day dot, you can't use them to make money. So that they're not the first ship you buy; they're second or the third type of thing. I think he is right. Right, just asked, are you coming to the Bar Citizen?
If he's referring, if he's referring to the Atmo thing, yes. Reluctantly, yes.
Yeah, I'm a bit reluctant too as well, but I am going because it's the first event we've had in over a decade where CIG have turned up to. But let me just put it this way: if the event goes badly, I will be doing a video on it to tell you how bad it was, because I have a lot of, both of you and I have a lot of problems with this event, but I'm trying to be nice. If it goes badly, I will air my grievances.
Now, just a riot. He was reluctant after he found out you were going.
It's okay.
But I'm going, so you don't have to be reluctant anymore. There you
go. Algared. I'm going to get some things.
Be a reason why he wants to not go anymore.
I'm going to get some. Because I can't fit them in my luggage, and I'm only going with a carry-on. I'm going to get some things delivered to your house. If they come in really big boxes and they say caution, deadly, and all that, just ignore all that. They're for riot.
They're
not.
Them up for you.
No. They're not for you. They're for riots.
Just all right. Okay. Okay.
You know, hazmat required and all that. Just ignore them. It's all for riot. Right? You'll be fine. Just keep it outside at the back door. You'll be fine. Just don't touch them or kick them inappropriately. You'll be fine. Right. Next question, please, Algared.
Next question is from Zeph, 1936. Have there been any updates on how shield changes John Crew mentioned in reference to engineering updates would work?
I think you can clearly look at the ships right now and see that there's a multitude of issues that engineering has brought in to the way they break apart. They're all not really balanced. They're clearly going to be going through and have to redo all those again.
Well, some ships don't have components and other things, which makes it more difficult.
We have there's a lot. Well, again, just today we got into that Aurora, and two of the components that were there are now gone. So they're clearly working on the Aurora right now, as an example. So
there's lots and lots of things that engineering's brought in that they're going to be constantly working on and polishing, and you know, and even look, you even got the impression from Disco when they said they were going to be, the bi-monthly updates this year instead of trying to do monthly. which I think is a good thing. I think that means, you'll get the new missions every 2 months. They'll keep it going. But he gave the impression that when the next patch drops, it's going to be reiterated on and polished and continually gone. So
well, just to
the
add,
update's not the end of that patch, is it?
Well, just to add to what you're saying, it's kind of like what a lot of us have been saying. They really haven't been working on Star Citizen a lot the last couple of years because they've been so focused on Squadron. And you can clearly see now as we enter 2026 and they're kind of getting ready for that release, there are more and more people that are less useful on Squadron because it's getting more content complete. And we're getting into that polishing stage where it's clearly too many cooks in the kitchen. So some of those people are starting to move over. More and more are starting to move over. So, you'll see this rapid increase in pace as they all come back. And we'll look at last year. Realistically, they called it the year of stability. I call it really the year of the mission team carrying the entire Star Citizen game and nothing really changing. Because that's really what it was. They basically held down the fort, and a few key people probably worked on tech throughout the entire year, and there was only the real patch at the end that added engineering, the optimizations that they'd been working on all year long, and the only patches that we really got were content patches, right? So they called it stability, but it was really like nothing changed. It wasn't the only reason it was stable because nothing changed. So technically the wording is correct, but it's very misleading.
Well, I would hope that they were constantly polishing and bug fixing and things, so we're giving more stability to that patch. But yeah, you're right. It wasn't anything overwhelmingly new if you took the missions out. So yeah.
Oh, I put an extra J there. See, maybe I'm drunk too. Anyway, it's time to summon Twitch. Yeah. Look. Long story short, I am very excited for this year because you can clearly tell there are people working on the game, whereas previously they really weren't. And yes, we got some cool. It's really ironic. The year where they don't really do anything, it's one of the most successful years they ever had done because there was just more content to play. You got to see the juxtapositionally irony in that. And now they're working on the game again. Oh, it's broken. I'm annoyed. Blah blah. And you can see the like when I talk to people like Bops, he's always like, "Why don't they just fix this? Why don't they just fix this?" And it's like, well, because they're building the game.
People are like that.
And it's like, so we literally stopped for an entire year, and you were happy, and now they're working on the game again. You're complaining and don't want to play the game. What do you want? Finish game, or do you want to play the game? You can't have both.
That's why we can't have nice things.
And it literally shows you can't have both. So it's we're either going to have this really slow development, or do we just play with it broken and get it out as quickly as we can? And I'm in the it's broken, get as much shit in as you possibly can, and then fix it camp, because that's a shorter timeline. But we live in an age now where, well, have seen this more than me. I read you're older than me, and I know if I went out to my mum and John Citizen and you older folk, just how because to you, I'm very impatient, am I not?
You are.
But then you could go grab a younger person again, and they're even more impatient.
And they are more impatient. And to you, I'm very slow.
You are a fucking snail.
Particular.
and that's insulting to snails.
I'm like a country bum.
You were the sloth in Zootopia.
Yeah.
I can't even go as slow as him. Like, he's so slow, I can't even go that slow. But you get my point, right? Like just as time's gone on, like I was watching this documentary the other day on how kids are in school right now. And do you would remember back when I was in school, right? So you would have been, I don't know, 25, however old you would have been. But you remember when you pull out the old TV, the old tube box, and the VCR, and they'd put a video on, and you'd be like, yeah, we're going to watch TV. It was like the coolest thing. We're watching a video. We don't have to actually do any work. You know, they bring out the TV now for the kids, and they go, can I skip it? They don't want to watch the TV.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a video.
They just want to sit and look at a screen like on an iPad or play a game or something like that. The television is too slow for them. Wow, we are at another level. Like that and when I saw that, I was like, what? That's a thing?
unfortunately, it used to be said that people had a memory span of about 14, 15 minutes. So you could basically, it was 1 hour, 1 minute of concentration, ability to stay focused on something for every year of your life up to 14, and then it would stop. And so, but you've now got so many students who have ADHD, they just can't focus, or they super focus on something and don't get anything else done. And it's
And I think it's all got to do with the stuffing up of their dopamine through screens.
Oh, it's everything to do with
well, here in Australia, for those of you who don't know, they brought in a ban on social media. Whether you agree with it or not, I think their heart was in the right place. I just think they went about it the wrong way. But I can see why they did it. And if I went back to my teenage years with Facebook and that, I would agree. I wouldn't want it. I think it has done more harm than good. And I can sit here and, there's things you and I have talked in the background that we wouldn't talk about here. There is a myriad of reasons why I don't think you should have those tools in front of kids that are developing. And I think their heart is really in the right place. But the other side of the coin is, though, if a parent wants to let their child opt in, I think that's also on the parent, not the government to do that. But anyway, I don't want to go too political any more than that.
It shouldn't. I would say it shouldn't necessarily be the government that's doing it, but it really, I think too many parents have surrendered their.
Well, let me put it another way, Algared, that you would understand. Your generation doesn't mind board games. A lot of people in my generation don't like board games. And now you go down to the kids, they don't even like TV. Like, it's got that bad, right? Like they don't even like to watch movies. They are full interactive.
I'll do it another way. We can sit there and watch a YouTube video, an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They want shorts.
Yeah, they have to have a short that literally has like a video game playing in the background while you're talking about it that they listen to. So they've got to do like two things at once to keep their mind busy. It's crazy town, man. I don't get it. I'm really confused.
Yeah, as Solomon just picked up the same idea. I think YouTube is too slow for some young people now, and so there's TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Yeah,
well, read the line. Read the line under that. I think that's even more poignant. By Zeth, he says, unfortunately, a lot of cases, iPads have become babysitters, and that's exactly true.
Yeah, that's true.
I can think of this kid and his mum that I know, and every time the kid cries, she just gives him the phone. And it's just like, and if he doesn't have the phone, he'll cry. And I'm like, you see what you're doing, right? He's literally trains you to give him the phone, and you shouldn't be. The phone is what he doesn't need.
Is his pacifier.
Yeah, and he doesn't need the phone. It's making him worse. So you're actually engaging him to be worse and worse and act that way. And I said this to her, and now they're really working to get him off the phone, like a lot, and he'll cry and shit and all that. And I said, and every time he cries, you discipline him. You go off at him. I
was at a restaurant the other week, and families are there with their kids, and the kids were all on their iPads or phones.
But let's be honest. You got to look at this multifaceted, right? Because it's like, this. We've totally gone way off the rails, by the way. So I'm going to end this pretty quickly. But Just Right says, my kids love board games. And what he's pointing out that I want to point out is it's also how you raise your kids. But do you have the time to raise your kids? We live in a society where you don't have a lot of time anymore. So I don't think it's intentional. It's just that it's easier and less stressful.
There's so many things that are crowding in.
So you have to make,
it's hard.
Like anything that you want to do. You know, when people say, I don't have time to watch a movie or I don't have time to play a game. If it's your kids, like anything else, you want to do it, you've got to make the time. You've got to plan the time.
It's a matter of priorities.
Yeah, so you've got to
make the priorities for it.
And what's more important than your family? That's simple. So you've got to prioritize your kids. You've got to make sure they're, you discipline them properly, and I'm getting into some social dynamics here as well. Don't even get me started on single parenting. Like that goes to another level where you've got even less time. There is many moving parts here. We cannot criticize people. We need to help those people.
Yep.
And I think that's why they're trying to bring in those laws, because they see it as helping because it's got out of control. And let's be honest, it has got out of control. But I think that is overstepping. I think it needs to be, you need to opt in. You are banned unless your parents opt you in. But by the same token, if they're opting you in, you're flagging yourself to the government. As in, maybe we'll send some around to check on your kids. Do you know what I mean? Because again, and not that you punish the parent or take the kids away from them, you offer help. It's them going, right, I'm going to let my kid do this, but maybe I need some help with my kids because I'm just working too hard.
Yeah, Just Right says my kids love board games. He's single dad, 4 kids, and the board games, I'm going to guess, give you great family time together. And I can remember playing board games with my family and stuff. Synthwave says the whole discussion reminds him of the scene in Back to the Future where he comes in and turns on the TV and pulls up all 25 channels to watch at the same time because he's just...
Right. If you look at the data, it's not a single dad problem. It's a single mum problem because you need the dynamics. And apparently there's a whole bunch of politics in there I can unwrap. But if you want to talk about it off stream, I'll happily sit down and talk with you off stream. But it's a very political area, and I don't want to get into political discussions if we can avoid it.
But as Right says, it is great interaction time with the kids. And but right. And the medicated, dedicated citizen says, I love the pace of your show.
All over the place
for mini painting.
Chaos, absolute insanity. We change it and go over. Yeah, well, clearly you are doing like, what's that splatter paintings that the Justin Pollock or whatever it was? He's doing Justin Pollock miniature painting, just like a drum all over the place.
Painting a miniature like my nephew. When my nephew first painted.
Blops.
He was painting an orc, and he was, I was showing how to paint. How do I do boots front? How do I do mud? And then he dipped a paintbrush in the brown and in the water and splattered all over it. And I'm, what'd you do that for? And he said, oh, it fell in the mud. It was a beautiful figure for a 4-year-old to have painted at the time. And it was just brown at the end because it fell in the mud. So he's painting a Warhammer Chaos Army. So yeah, our audio track is great for that. Perfect. Anyway, moving on. New question. Cool.
Did we get did we get all the missing skins? Yeah, I think we got all the missing skins for the Aurora. Some of the skins we never knew what they looked like. We didn't know what the Electro Hull School looked like. There's also
I Got Your Money.
Well, they haven't done that one. Come Take My Money hasn't been done.
Oh, there you go. We don't have all the skins in.
So, but again, the way that's been pitched is it's an Aurora only skin, and it's not an Aurora only skin, no matter how you look at it. So if they don't bring it out for the Connie later, at the very least, I'm gonna have to crucify them.
I think certainly the Electro skin is one I think was Connie. I don't think the others were. I think a lot of those, Take My Money was a.
As I don't want to go over it again, but as we went over, it is so vaguely worded. You can take it any way you want to take it, right? And that's the problem. It needs to be. They need to bring it out and state. Even if it's worst, it's the minimum. It's a Connie and an Aurora skin. It is at its minimum, right? So no matter how you look at it, but the way everyone read it back in the day, it was for every single ship, and you could change between two skins.
And everyone understood it with every ship that was currently available.
So that again, that comes back to RSI never fully and properly explaining things, right? And so if they only make it an Aurora skin, I will be holding them to the flame at the very least. So again, my hope would be that it is what we all thought it was, where you can change between two skins and it works on any ship in the game. But they are clearly, based on the fact that it's only appearing on the Aurora, they're probably only ever going to do it for the Aurora and the Connie, and that was very misleading.
For that Electro skin, yes, but for the other skins, the Take My Money, the Southwest, the Operation Pitchfork skin. I think they were all only ever for the Connie.
They're all in there except for shut up.
Take My Money.
Shut up
and take my money.
My money. There is no shut up and take my money. I looked at this yesterday. I did look at this.
Yep.
And these are the types of things you can find, like Reddit posts. So if they said it was on Kickstarter. They never talk about where it is. There's places that it's for sale, right? And there's all these people that talk about it in posts, like even on Steam.
$79.
Right. Well, that's how much it goes for now, because you can't buy it anymore.
Holy moly! Like it was $5.
The Electro Hull skin, I found one for sale for $20. But like you go through this and they never tell you. It doesn't tell you what it is. And even if you look at the original thing, it's just that the Shut Up and Take My Money was it was essentially for supporting the game. It doesn't tell you what it looks like. It doesn't say anything about the colors. So we got no idea what it's going to look like when it comes out. It could. Well, my brain go, if it's Shut Up and Take My Money, would you make it like white and green to look like Benjamin's? Would you? Who knows? I got no idea what it's going to look like. So again, this one is just a skin, but that Electro Hull, they're working on some fun line. What about the False Colors skin? Wasn't the False Colors Operation Pitchfork?
False Colors
or the Dread Pirate?
No. I thought the False Colors was actually the Electro Hull. That's how people used to talk about it.
Let's have a look.
But the Southwest, the Southwest skin, that's in game with the Aurora now. The Electro Hull is coming with the Aurora now, or will come with the next patch. The Army skin, etc. The Take My Money is the one we don't know.
I swear the False Colors was the pirate skin. Here we go. False Colors skin.
Oh, there you go. False Colors.
Shut Up and Take My Money is the False Colors. So there you go.
All right, there you go.
So Shut Up and Take My Money is considered the False Color skin. They're the same. Anyway, but the problem is it's just a skin.
False Colors. So yeah.
So at the end of the day, like again, a lot of these skins were sold just to raise a bit of money, but they were so vague in what they were for.
Like Shut Up and Take My Money was literally because people were saying, "Give us a skin," and so okay, here's a skin. Shut up and take me out.
Now all these years later, it's a bit weird. Which button for night vision? It is right Alt L, and it's also really cool that you can turn on the normal light as well, and scanning. If you go to a night place, don't forget to turn your actual lights on as well. It makes it even brighter, and scanning when you're in nighttime is really cool as well.
But that is so that I saw that and I went,
I still got a massive blast yesterday. I was in the PTU and there's a guy called Vorux or something like that, and he goes, "Oh man, it's so bright when you turn on the lamp." I go, "Yeah, it's almost like if it was designed for nighttime." It's just like all those people in chat just laughing at him, like, because this was just so obvious. Like it's like he's just missing the whole thing. Synth is just saying how he loved the TV when he was a kid first time. Right. You want to go to the next question?
Next question is from Sergeant Perry, who says, "I know X hates variants, but what are the chances of a Reclaimer mining variant?"
Well, you and I talked about this yesterday, didn't we? If it was up for a full rework, would they do a variant of the Reclaimer? And sadly, I think it's a yes.
And we went, which
I don't want. You know, I'm really not liking all these variants coming in. I like bespoke, more unique ships.
And if I was doing a variant, because it's a military company building their ship, now I can see the Reclaimer salvaging ships that have been wrecked and doing that. The other industrial ship that I could see working really well for military would be a gas miner to harvest fuel.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Are they going to do that? Cannot tell you. Have no idea. But our bets are, there's going to be a variant of the Reclaimer when they rework it.
It's clearly they're looking at other ships now on how to get the ships out quicker. Instead of making all these unique ships, they're just beelining, trying to get as many done as possible. And someone said, let's just variant, they learned it during the onboarding stuff, and now they're just doing it all the time. And unfortunately for me, it's really brought the overall quality of thought. I don't want to say quality, but the quantity has really dropped, right? The quality has probably gone up, if anything, but it just doesn't feel the same. It just doesn't.
Ships,
and there is a realism behind it. They do it in the real world. I get all that. They try to build things modularly. I get all that, but it just feels. I don't know the other word to use other than dirty. It just
same-o.
It just feels dirty. It feels cheap.
Yeah.
You know, I want when I'm outlaying these large amounts of money, I want a unique ship. And unfortunately now, those really big end ships, like look at the Perseus, right? No variant of that yet. The Polaris, no variant of that yet. But then as soon as you drop down to like Ironclad Assault, you know, Apollo, Hermes, you know, you see where I'm going, right?
And,
So are we going to eventually see something really big that has a variant?
Well, we do. We've got the Kraken.
That's not the same because it's a kit. It's like the Idris KP and all that, right? That's just that's still the same shit. It's a module. Let's be honest, it's a module.
It is a module, but it's a massive change to the interiors of a ship and what the ship has. So you lose.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same because it's still the same ship. It's like the 600i, right? It's just a module. It's not completely different. If it was the privateer, it would be a whole new ship and not a kit. And you would have to have both of them. And that's the problem with when they, you know, do the MISC Prospector and the Fortune, they feel like the same ship, but they, if it was a module, we wouldn't be having this discussion. We just wouldn't, right? And they're essentially taking what should be a module and making it a whole standalone ship to save themselves work. And I get that. I really do. Yeah. But by the same token, it just feels cheap and it's shitty, you know? Like it's okay if you change the ship enough that it, like you and I did talk about this last night, the Paladin over the Asgard. The Paladin feels okay. It feels
because
it's different.
You can see they've started from that point, but it's grown and beyond. And
so I want that now. I want Paladins. I don't want Asgards, if that makes sense. I want it to change enough that they, you know, they started here and then they made it its own thing, but you can see that that's real world as well, right?
Yeah, and if it is just the same hull that's just been refilled, then it's really a module. It's not a new ship, and I think that's a quandary they have, and it's, you know, and I think when we were talking to Ben and John, that they kind of hinted at it. It's the things that save money, save time, not save money, but save time.
Okay, I've got something for us to look at. Volta or Father and Son Gaming sent this through, and I will happily look at this, and we can critique it and share our 2 cents, and chat can do the same. So he's gone through and he has labeled all the skins from the video on what he thinks they are. I think it's kind of interesting. So he thinks this is the Explorer skin. The next one he's got here is he thinks this is Shut Up and Take My Money, which is kind of see where he's going there with the little pattern and the green. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, kind of makes sense. This one here is the UE. Yeah, this is confirmed. I think that one's confirmed. I've seen this one in other places, and you can kind of see it up there a little bit in the thumbnail. Then, oh god, sorry, I keep getting confused. Back to this one. So this is the Electro hull. Yeah, obviously.
That's the Electro hull.
Yep. And then this one here is the PAX one, obviously.
That's the PAX one. Yep. That's the southwest.
And then this is Operation Pitchfork, because he actually says this in the video, like as he's talking. So these last
and
few
you
are
can see the Operation Pitchfork logo on the back, I believe.
Yeah, and then this is the Blackbeard stealth skin, which is the Red Pirate skin.
Red Pirate skin.
Yeah, it's been sold. It's been sold in different ways. It's been sold as Blackbeard stealth, and it's been sold as Red Pirate. So we've seen it here with the skull and crossbones on the side, but I think it is literally just going to be the ES, but you make it black instead of white. But yeah, I'd kind of agree with that, because the only two that we really need to look at was these two. And if you're saying Shut Up and Take My Money, and then this one is the Explorer skin, I would say that's probably the Explorer, and that's probably the Shut Up and Take My Money. Yep, I could say that.
Yep. Yep, I'd agree with that. Sounds fair.
But yeah. This is the one that's going to cause the drama in time, because if they just delete the, again, I went out of my way to go back and find that description, and they've deleted it from everywhere on the website. It's like they don't want it to exist, and they're just going to pretend that it's an Aurora. No.
Yeah,
it's not just an Aurora skin. It's got to be a Connie skin to it, at the very least. Anyway,
to answer your socially confused question, or socially confused Chinese says, are the Auroras going up in price? I would expect not, but the Aurora Mark IIs will be a higher price.
well, here's the next question for Algared. Are all these skins going to work on the Mark II? You know what I mean? Straight away, you go, well, that sucks balls. They've brought out a new one, and now all my old skins that I paid money for have all just been surpassed because...
Yep. And as Piss Poor Pete says, it never explicitly said that the Electro skin was for the Aurora, which is why he bought it. That's right. I thought it was for the Connie, not the Aurora.
As we went through,
and
it can be taken so many different ways, and because of its vagueness, I think you need to make it so it works for all ships, and you need to do the extreme of what people thought it was for, because that's why they brought it. I brought it because I thought you could use it on any ship, and that you could have it for smuggling. That's why I brought it.
Yep.
And it was at one point I went through and deleted all the Aurora skins and put them into my buyback, and the only one I kept was the Electro hull.
That one, yep. And that's the same with a lot of people. They bought it with the intent of using it on their cutlasses or their caterpillars, or because then they could engage in piracy and flick the skin. Oh, I'm not that pirate.
And that is not on the people that brought the skin.
Crazy grocer.
That's not on the people that brought the skin. That's on CIG for not being complex enough in your description. So I think you need to make it. You either need to come out and say, we can't make it change between the two skins because of gameplay reasons. That's the case.
Yep.
But there's no reason that this should not work on every ship in the game. That's not going to have a gameplay effect.
Or at least the bare minimum, every ship that was available at that time when it came out.
Well, again, it's how do you read it, Algared? Because do you read it on people on the website, or do you... It's too vague. That's the problem. So I think you have to go to the extreme and make it every ship in the game. And guess what? They've got the data forge system, so there's no reason you can't have this skin on every ship in the game, other than it's going to take you a shit ton of time. Too damn bad. It's one of those Kickstarter skins that are rare. That's why it should be valuable, because it works on every ship in the game.
Yep. And Father and Son Gaming said, don't forget the Record Breaker skin, which was included to original and veteran backers.
Absolutely. I did forget that one, actually. Do I have that one?
Yep. Yeah, did you include that one?
I don't know. I don't know if I did.
That was a question for Father and Son Gaming, since he sent all the skins up to you.
Well, no, he just went through the video. I did see this one too. They implied this yesterday. If you did the feedback survey, you got this. I did a feedback survey and it was a shitty sign.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get that. Oh, what was it called again? A record breaker. Record
breaker.
Nope. Right. Got the Dread Pirate skin, but I don't have Record Breaker.
Yeah.
Unless it's in my buyback.
And the prisoner says, yeah, but there are only 5 ships back then. Yeah, well.
What was it? What was the Record Breaker for? Was it for the Aurora?
I think it was one for back when they did, I'm going to guess 100 million.
Yeah, that's
200 million maybe.
Let's have a look and see what we can find. 5.5 million to the stars. Record Breaker screen is an exclusive early backer reward skin and starts in accounts that pledged before 5.55 million crowding for milestone in November 2012. Is a rare celebratory and used account bound livery often found on older original back accounts alongside LTI. The key details in Record Breaker screen include eligibility award backers who, that would be me. Sigma is the commemorative cosmetic item making the game's early access crowdfunding. Backers who pledged before yeah, well, I'm a Kickstarter backer, so I should have that. I don't know why it's not coming. Oh, but it's the mod. The mod's probably hiding it. So I'd have to go through by hand and find it in my hanger without the mod. I did have to do that for some of the other skins, by the way. Anyway, who cares? It's just a skin at the end of the day. But you know, your promises are promises. It was kind of like Ben said, they didn't even know what some of the skins looked like because they'd never been described. They were just a skin. And I think the shut up and take my money is one of those ones. It was a skin, but they never told us what it looked like or the color or anything like that.
Yep.
So anyway, right, next question.
Danvers Official
Mm-hmm.
says, can you explain more on NPC slots for extra game packages? I have 3 extra game packages, so does that mean I should have 3 NPCs that I can bring on a character? How will this work?
Basically, they're also said to be alternative characters that you could bring.
Yep. In fact,
also said that you
we
could
did a video on this.
Yeah, but they also, well, I'm answering his question. I'm not going to make you watch the whole video. They also stated that you could have them as NPC crew on your ship that your other friends could jump into and take over. Yep. And that's how agent smithing was going to work.
Yeah, that's where people got the idea of agent smithing, where you...
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure it was the idea of actual agent smithing where your friend became, where the character disappeared, the NPC disappeared and your character was there, or whether they took over the NPC. But it was that type of idea. Again,
I think a lot of that's still probably going to be up in the air and subject to change. It'll come down on what they want to do at the end of the day. One of those things that were promised that they're obviously going to have to make a hard line on eventually. But yeah, at the very least, NPCs for your ship.
Yep. So, Robert, in case you missed it, sale is basically the ships that were produced last year. Or released last year, you can get them. But because they don't have LTI, we would say use it for getting a CCU or an upgrade if you want them.
And they're all here listed and...
Yep. So that would be what I would be suggesting. You use an LTI token, especially for the bigger ships or the more expensive ships. But yeah.
Radio. Right.
I don't want that one. Simon Wolf. I was just made to play characters and NPCs in a game of D&D, and it went well, if not perfectly. Could you see Star Citizen NPCs remembering past interactions with us? Yep, that's what they intend.
And it literally needs to do that to pull it off. We did do an episode with Morph on that. In fact, usually when Morph comes along, we do a lot of AI based stuff with Morph. He seems to be the guy that we like that stuff with. So anytime we have an episode where we chat to Morph and talk about AI. But I think at the last time we did that one, NVIDIA had also announced too that they were making something to do dialogue for NPCs on the fly with AI. And I think that'll be really commonplace in a couple of years' time, where you're essentially talking with an AI, because it just makes sense. It's a really good place to have it. It means the dialogue you're always going to have is bespoke. And especially if you can also get them to speak, animate, like it's just going to put games on a completely different level. And if you've just got to give them the gist of it, which is also the personality system that they're going to have in Star Citizen, you can see one system of Star System quickly leading into that very, very quickly, and just putting it slightly above other systems. Because the other problem with having AI is they might become a bit samey. Like if you use the same AI on every single character, then aren't you essentially talking to the same character? So you've got to have those personalities to make someone scared or angry or whatever differentiate. And you can obviously use AI to do that and make them different. But also, as you stated in your question, you also have to remember events. So if, say, Algared's an NPC, and I come along and we do a great deal and have a great interaction, I come back to him literally 2 years later, and he goes, "Oh yeah, here to buy another one of those. It was great when you were here, 2 years ago or 2 cycles ago, and such and such." But then I piss him off and shoot him in the leg, and then I come back, another 2 years later, and he's really pissed at me, and he goes, "My knee's been aching ever since you shot me," and stuff like that. They're the type of shit we're going to remember.
I've got a prosthetic now because of you, maggot.
Yeah. And that's going to make every character we play with feel real. and that's the level you got to get to really put this game on a different level. So yeah, I think AI is just gonna, that was their plan, and everyone would sit here and go, well, how the hell are you going to do that? How the hell are you going to pull this off? But now AI is here, really easy to see how they're going to pull it off. They use AI, it just makes it simple. So it's totally obtainable now, is the point I think I would make.
Yeah.
Right, you want to go on next question?
Okay, next question. 03830 says, but they don't have data running gameplay as yet. Will they release data ship before the gameplay?
But they do have cargo. And remember, they released the Clipper, and it doesn't have fabrication, but it does have medical. So that's enough. They've got the cargo. That's all they need. That gives them their. Oh, it's got some gameplay. Here you go.
Yep. So they can.
Yep.
And I'd agree with that. That's what they've done in the past. 03830 comes back and says, I see the temperature controlled room transport of perishable goods. What do you think? Yep. I even think, if you got the right climate, you could possibly even make the conditions perfect for Quantanium. So you've got more time to deliver it to where you want.
And do you even really need a module for that? You don't really. You just climate control the entire, the ship is all internal already. So you just change that whole room to be colder.
Well, that was a big advantage of the Caterpillar, wasn't it? Each of those modules, each of those cargo pods had its own atmosphere and
I'd probably use the 400i as a better example though, because that did have the closed off room and it was really spoken a lot about in the 400i. But you are correct,
being a climate controlled room. But
and again, obviously, you've got other problems, like if you're going to make it somewhere where you can't breathe, do you have to wear a suit into that room? There's also no airlocks on some of those rooms. So does that limit that you can only make them colder or hotter? You can't really, I can't make it like a nitrogen-rich atmosphere, because if I open the door, then it's going to basically affect the room that I'm in. So do I have to put it right up on the end module so I can't, and all of a sudden that cuts off the nose module and I can't get to it? You see what I mean? So it does create problems. Where the 400i, those rooms are sealed off. You got glass and you can look through them. So again, does it make it, that would then make the Hermes more akin to the Caterpillar, as you're suggesting. That's why I'm agreeing with you, as opposed to the 400i, because it doesn't. Do you need to put the walls in? You see what I mean? There's a juxtaposition there. Player choice and interest. But then putting the walls in creates other issues, like, do I have it so the walls open and close? So I can use the cargo lifts. So I'd almost ask, are they going to have some kind of, like, if we get in there and there's some kind of door that closes, well, then you have your answer, don't you? You can make them climate controlled. Or do you make it a separate module, so there's a cargo module and like an advanced cargo module, and the advanced one has doors on it, but it's slightly less cargo? So they're all questions we have yet to know an answer, but you can see where we're going. Bit complicated, but there's the ropes.
Enough rope to hang ourselves.
Yes.
Always. Mackimoss says, sorry if this has been asked, but when do you think the Connie series will get a gold pass?
I think at this stage it would have to be after 1.0. It's just like, it's in game, it does everything it kind of does functionally. The Phoenix is probably the one in the worst state, but guess what? There's no real functional gameplay for Luxury right now. So I'd say as their gameplays come online, I think that would cover it, wouldn't it, Algared? If you go back and
at the moment,
you got AI that's really required for VIP, and I would say it's more of an advanced AI, so I'd say it's still quite far away.
Yep, but if you look at the Connies, they've got the fuses in, they've got the components in, so it will work with engineering at the moment. You look at a Reclaimer, fuses aren't in, components aren't in. That's the big difference. So you've got ships that have got the things that will work with engineering, ships that won't. The fact that the Connie has those things, I would say it puts the gold pass further down the track than closer.
Is that who I think it is in chat on YouTube? The very last person to talk in YouTube. The photo looks like them.
It is.
Nice to see you. All right, next question. Okay. And
Yes.
Algared goes red in 3, 2, 1. There he goes. Got it. Did it again. I'm going to count now and you go red. It's great. Right. Next one.
Yes, Salamat pagi.
I
Dina.
think she likes you making go red as well. I think that's the best part. That's just like me and winner. That's gonna be our thing. Just make it out go red. Right.
Yes.
When you ready? Good job, winner. We're a good team. Good. High five, winner.
I can't concentrate now.
Next question, Algared. Go for it. We're gonna team up and do so much now. So much. We're gonna be the end every day. Yeah, winner. Yeah, winner next against Algared. Yeah,
All right.
let's go.
I've been to Delphi 2. Been to Delphi Key says, what price ballpark do you think the medium salvager will be? If it is around the price of the mole, it's
Exactly.
too far behind the cost of Redeemer.
No, I think it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than the mole, but I don't think it's going to be much more expensive than the mole. You know, my brain's going to like 330, kind of in that ballpark. Like that's kind of where I'm going. It's clearly like a mole, but with some extra tech on it.
Yeah.
But that's where I go.
If it depends on what it is. If it's just a mole variant, then a little bit more. If it's a paladin version of a mole,
But if you make it too expensive, and I'd already say at 315, I'm already willing to spend an extra $85 and go from the mole to a reclaimer, right? And I know the mole's
because
not a
it's so much
salvage.
closer.
Yeah, I know the mole's not a salvager, but I'm just saying, say it's exactly the same price, I will happily go to the reclaimer. Knowing I've got to sit on the reclaimer though is the downside. But again, can't I buy the vol and just have that and buy an upgrade and sit and wait for the? You see what I mean? So there's no reason I can't have both. So that would be my thing. Have the vol right now and have an upgrade to the reclaimer. And if they fix the reclaimer, I jump. If not, I meld it and I keep the vol. Who cares? There's no. Like we've said,
that's the big thing, isn't it?
Well, there's no way you can't have your cake and eat it too now, is what I'm trying to say. So it really just comes down to
reclaimer,
yeah. And again, the whole argument you and I make is it's easier to earn down than it is to earn up. So you're better to spend the cash now than do the grinding game. And so when I look at it like that, it's just.
And if you're looking at it, you need 3 people for that ship. I put 3 people on a reclaimer. Man,
well, people are assuming it's 3, but I actually think it's 4. Right? And again,
pilot and
again, if the reclaim, this is the thing they kind of explained earlier that the vulture is quality, and the reclaimer is quantity.
It's quality.
No, quantity. Quantity. So it's volume.
That's what I said.
You said quality.
Yeah.
Okay. I mix up words too. But the point I'm trying to make is, what does that make this? It's just some middle ground where it's like a medium amount of quality. Like what is that? And I have to assume that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be this weird middle ground. And does that make it more versatile, or does it make it in some cases worse and in some cases better? Who knows?
I can see where that is with a vulture. Like a vulture rocks up to an 890 jump. You can't crack it, can't fracture it, but it can strip it. So you can get 12 SCU or 24 SCU of just the top tier stuff. Reclaimer can up to a ship. It can strip it, it can crack it, it can rip the weapons off. It's got place to store it. It can take everything. So you're getting the quantity, but not necessarily only the quantity. So or the quality. So yeah.
And again, we don't really know what the claw functionally does. At the moment, the claw is just a glorified straw. Does that mean they're just gonna? Is that the same thing on this vol? Does it just come along and go? Like, is it just a jump? Like, there's so much unknown about Salvage at this point. It's kind of ridiculous. You know, they're both in a functional state, both mining and salvage, and clearly the missing link to get to crafting is refining.
So I could see that the gap being that, just based on the idea of the way the mole is at the moment, where you you've got the bags and you just put the cargo in. There's no cargo space really for putting stuff. If you do that with salvage, like the reclaimer does, you can break stuff. You can get both the construction stuff plus the RMC, plus you can strip the weapons off and put them in and the components off and put them in your hull. You can't do components and weapons in a ship that doesn't have a cargo hold. But if it's got a claw, it could do RMC and construction materials. Whereas the Vulture can't really break a lot of things down. Can only do would focus on RMC.
Well, look, Algared,
that would be my thinking, but
I'll put this to you, right? You and I we did shows way back when in the day, like about what these ships would be, and you could almost break it down, right? Now I sit here and break it down now, knowing what this is based on, and the one thing that's clearly missing from this to the Reclaimer, there's no drones.
Yep, no drones, no cargo space, at least.
Well,
seems to be,
or it's done in a different way, right? But I think clearly the most evidential is no drones. Right? I'm not going to sit here and argue with cargo space because I think they're done in multiple different ways.
No, you're right. The drones are the one big thing. Yep.
Yeah. Again, you could probably still have a laser on here somewhere, but there's clearly no space for drones on the mall. There just isn't. Yep. There's no room like that. It's quite a substantially large room on the Reclaimer, and it's only got 4 drones, right? So even if you look at something small like the Vulcan, that still takes up a massive space on the Vulcan, right? So there just isn't space to do drones on this thing. Unless you're going to make it some kind of like one-off drone and it's piloted through an MFD, which I just don't see them doing. Well, there's no other ship that does that currently. It's kind of like more like an engineering screen on the Vulture, isn't it? It's a bespoke MFD. So you could do it, I guess, but I just don't see it. I guess we'll find out when it comes out. But man, now I'm sitting here questioning myself, like, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it based on what we currently have.
And the other question is, what processing or refinery does?
Well, it's got the sorting in the mole, so I just assume it's some kind of sorter. And
I'm thinking, how far do you push the ability on the Reclaimer when it's redone? Is it a full-on refinery? Is it a
I'm assuming most of the rework on that ship is going to be the internal in that top corridor that goes from the cockpit to the kitchen.
Yeah.
What are the changes in that corridor that differentiates it from the mole?
Yeah.
But
even more.
Well, that's why we're calling it.
Next
So
question.
Digit. That's why we're calling it the Vol, because it's clearly a salvaging mole. So until I hear a better name, I'm just going to keep calling it the Vol, which fits with another small mammal. That's an animal.
Yep.
Anyway, and it's similar to the mole. Anyway, go ahead, Aaron.
Graffiti TD says, do they redesign the Freelancer on the Gold Pass to match today's game for seats and bunks, man turret in the cargo bay, top docking collar, etc., and the locked airlock, etc., etc.?
Yep. All that needs to be done. Do you need to lower the player count on the number of seats in that ship? Yep. You could lower most of the freelancers besides the misery down to 2, and then that all of a sudden those 2 seats get moved out. You can move out the number of bunks. So you've just cut down on so much space in that front end of the ship. And in that middle airlock section that would no longer need to be an airlock, for the misery, you could put the 3rd bed in there. Right now they've got a missile delivery system, but maybe on the other side you can put the bed. In the DER, they've got the little fuel refinery thing, and stuff like that. So, moving stuff around, it's all totally possible. It's just how much time do they want to spend doing it? And I think for me, they kind of don't want to do a rework. They're more likely to do well, they did hint at a Mark II for another ship, didn't they? Which was not the Aurora, by the way. So, and that, and when you go to Mark II territory, it instantly becomes those older ships. So the top 2 contenders in my book are Connie and Freelancer. And I think for me, you tell me, Algared, if you disagree with this, because of all the RSI ship work they've done, I lean towards RSI, as most people would. But just remember, they're working on the whole B right now, and they have a very big MISC kit as well. So I think it like the more I think about it, I just get confused, and it's got to be one of those two. I just can't, you know, I can't separate it. And changing the Connie, you're changing 5 ships. Changing the Freelancer, you're only changing 1. Well, actually, you're changing all the... Oh, shit. There's 4 of them, isn't there? Ah! It gets so confusing to track all this shit. Right.
I know. It's too hard.
It's too hard. Too much. And we're doing it with 2 people. I can't imagine what it is like for 1 content creator. My brain would explode if I didn't have Algared to hold the other half. I don't know about you, Algared, but no, that's
so
the
hard
same.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, look. I get you. I get you. Frankie Blue says, how do you think the cargo on the Gatak Rallian will work? Just like on other ships.
Like interpretive dance.
Yep. Just new dance, yep.
No,
but
they actually
they're using the same cargo pods. They're just trying to keep a look.
The pods essentially come down to the ground and they kind of like disperse out in a pattern, and you just kind of load them, and then it kind of packs back up. So think of the example I'd give is the floating stairs on the Scout. Yep. It's that floating tech. So there's some kind of pattern where you just press a button, they all unpack kind of behind the ship somewhere on the landing pad or wherever you are, and they'll standardize it to the metrics of the pad that they're on. So they might even spread it out completely around the ship. So it all, if you land in the center of the pad, it'll perfectly always be around the ship. So it'll be a pattern that you can learn. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised, Algared, you correct me if you think I'm wrong here. You know how they have that pattern that they shoot out the back of the MSR or the basketball hoop on the Perseus? They have something like that when you land, so you know where the pods are all going to go.
Yeah, when you're loading or unloading that, you'd have that light come on and show you where the points are for the,
even if it's just an out. It doesn't have to be every single individual pod, though. That'd be cool too.
But even if it's just the square for
exactly, yeah. So there's multiple ways you can do it there, and you know, put an alien spin on it, and you know, make it so it's Raelian-ish or whatever, and it'd be kind of cool. But again, right.
Father and Son Gaming, in-person CitizenCon or in-person Squadron 42 release party this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely the gala, and I think it probably will be in person this year. Actually, if they've got to spend too much time to organize Squadron 42, then maybe they would bypass the CitizenCon. But if it's the same thing at the same place, if the
launch is at CitizenCon, then it'd be,
so I've allowed
and I expect the gala is the red carpet routine with all the stars who you know, basically all the contracted people who have to turn up for the launch. That's where they go. So, which I think is what the idea of the gala was.
I'm not looking forward to a 35-hour flight again, Algared.
Yeah, I know.
I did a lot of sleeping. It does pass pretty quickly when you sleep the whole thing, but
but you wake up with a crook back, and
and you know, you're jet lagged as shit, and then you know, it takes I did. Yeah, it takes you a day to get back on your feet, and I'm gonna have to hit the ground running almost as well. That's the worst part, because I'm only gonna be there for 2 weeks. So you know, essentially, I'm probably gonna arrive on maybe the Sunday or something like that. And then the next night is going to be a bar citizen. And then there's a bar citizen every night up until CitizenCon. And then probably the week after, I might be doing some... Well, you know what it was like when we were there. We were sick at the same time as well. Like, we got so tired that we got sick, you know? So it was a full-on 2 weeks. It was just... And that with the flights, I'm not looking forward to it, and I'll be leaning on you heavily in the background to do stuff remotely at the same time. So don't you worry, you'll be hating it too, I reckon, by the end of it. And you know what I get like when I get moody, and but I think we were pretty well behaved though. We both got pretty moody, but considering how. But we were like this at the end, like
how tired we were. I don't think we ever got to that point.
I got off the train as you walked away, and I went, "Oh, thank fuck." Fuck!
I was too tired.
And you would have done the same thing. You would have gone, "Oh, thank fuck, I don't have to see Execute for another couple of weeks."
But yeah, like for the time we were there, it wasn't as bad as people think. I think they'd have been surprised at how well we actually got on.
Yeah. I think we were aware of it and we're trying to be on our best behavior because we didn't want to make it worse than it already was. Especially when, like you got sick and I took care of you, then I got sick and you took care of me. It's very much like,
and then we both got sick and we took care of each other.
Yeah, and we just powered through the whole week, just like, let's just go, let's just get this done. It was very much all hands on deck type of situation. And even the people we met there was a lot of people that could see how tired we were, and they were trying to help us as well. Like the guy from Singapore, SG.
Yep.
Waffle when we ran into him, and just anyone we ran into, that we were just, they wanted to hang out with us, they wanted to talk to it. John Citizen did a shit ton in the background, Piggles did a whole bunch of stuff. So just all hands on deck, trying to get shit.
Yeah. No, it was just the mixing and of the people and meeting the people was great. And I don't know about others, but we, a number of times we ran into Brian and Aaron just in Manchester. It was just, I lost count. I lost count of the number of times we ran into those guys and
I think
talked to them for 15, 20 minutes or...
Yeah, I think also if I went again, like the things you and I learned, I wouldn't go to every single bar citizen, but I would organize to go to dinner with people, or something like that. Like I'd like to meet people and go to a place where, because that was the thing that we learned when we did that bar citizen in Sydney. You don't want to do it at nightclubs. You want to do it at somewhere where you can talk. And if you're going to do it at a nightclub, get them to turn the bloody music off, because like you can't talk when it's so bloody loud. It was just stupid. Everyone was just yelling at each other, and it just doesn't work. And they all want you to buy. They do it because they want you to buy drinks. The thing is, we weren't there to. Yeah. We were there to talk, and we couldn't.
Like that bar citizen we did in Sydney was a tough one because we hadn't run one for ages. So we deliberately didn't book a separate place. We just booked a couple of tables, and there were probably more people than we expected as well.
Yeah.
So, but you live and learn.
Yeah. Annie Clan, I can't pronounce your name properly, dude. It just not roll off my tongue. Says we're probably going to miss this pre-alpha 1 gameplay community. Absolutely. I've said that a couple of times. What is this community going to be like in a year's time? Once Squadron is out, like we're going to double in size. How toxic is it going to get? How much is it going to change? Is it going to change at all? Like, are they going to stay as a Squadron community, or are they going to come over? Like, there's so many unknowns there. But I think we'd all agree, the more time's gone on and the bigger it's got, the kind of uglier it becomes. And that's just the nature of anything that grows.
You talk to anyone from 2014, 2012, 2013, and you ask them what do they miss, and they miss that closeness to that community and the closeness that you felt with CIG, and
the way I look at it, Algared, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong here, right? And chat, you can do the same. But the people that tend to make it to you and me are more of a hardcore crowd, the long-term invested crowd, and I think they're going to play with other. Like finds like, you know what I mean? They're going to find the other hardcore crowd, and that'll be like the community within the community. And I think we'll let other people in, obviously, but if they're toxic, well, they ain't getting in. It's just that simple, right? So I think
shunted to the side.
Yeah, we're already seeing this multi-layered, right? So you see your onboarders, different YouTubers, and they've got like 100,000 subscribers type of thing, right? But they don't really have that. I hear things of certain content creators. Well, I don't watch such and such anymore because he only talks about this, this, and this, right? And then you go a layer down, and and it's almost like the longer people stay around, they kind of filter down to the bottom. I don't want to say the bottom, but we are at the bottom, aren't we? We are the last stop, because we're that hardcore audience. And there is nothing wrong being at any stational point on that chain. It's just that's just the nature of things. So we're never going to be the biggest channel in my book, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't do this for those reasons, but I think we are going to be a very loyal, and we're already seeing the data, don't we, on YouTube? We have a really high retention rate with our subscribers.
Yeah, A lot of the other guys will look at it. How do you get that? Why?
Yeah.
They look at the figures and they're going, how do you? It just doesn't make sense to them.
In fact, what infects us negatively is giveaways, because we'll do a couple of giveaways, and then when we stop, the people that turned up and subscribed only turned up for the giveaways. So if we're not given a ship away every week, they unsubscribe. So we were 6 people short of 19k, and now we're back to needing 50 people. So that's just the way they're going grumbles. So there was like 50 people that just signed up to get giveaways, and they've disappeared because we didn't do a giveaway since the end of last year. So literally not doing a giveaway for a month. They're just like, yep, see, I'm out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And that's the way. Again,
One day.
And you, I put this guys back to you in chat too. Do you want other people that are here for the same reasons you're here, or do you want people that just turn up to get ships?
Yeah, Spike says, "Damn you! I want a free ship." Unsub.
Yeah, and it's just a bit like that. So I'm getting to the point where I can use ships to make the channels grow, and I can look out there at all these other content creators, and they're constantly giving away ships. But I think it's actually doing it's making it so you have to keep giving them away to keep growing. Yeah. That's like, well, do we want to grow artificially, or do we want to grow genuinely? And clearly the reason why our metrics look so weird to the other Inforunners is we're doing it genuinely, not artificially. And I think that's a very big distinction. And being that hardcore audience, you want to be genuine. You don't want to be well, again, how many people turn up to those
other factors that influence as well, like
but how many people turn up to the onboarders and they're really just there for the ships? You see what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do this for the wrong reasons. You and I have often said, when this is not fun anymore, we're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And one of the other things we say is it is always going to end. It's not. This is not going to last forever. It's impossible. Algared's going to move off and he's going to start a hair polishing channel. That's going to be his future endeavor. And I'm going to go off and start a hat critiquing channel. And we're going to split and go our different ways eventually one day, and that'll be that. But hopefully that's many years from now, you know. But we're going to enjoy the journey along the way, and I think that's why you guys turn up. Oh, well, I don't know. You tell me different.
I hope that's why you turn up.
Yeah, I just like look. It sounds cliche as shit, right? Because we've heard everyone else say it, but it's the people. I would not be here if it wasn't for the people. All the people through Inforunners, all the cool people in chat, all the people I get to interact with. There's no way this game would have done this over a decade run that it's done if it wasn't for such a cool community and bunch of people.
As they says, you know, Paul and Grim are basically the same as us in terms of that dynamic they go for. And
well, Grim does a lot of giveaways.
So just right says he just turns up to yell at you at his screen.
And that's fine. But he's bantering. See? It's the interaction thing.
Yeah, it's that interaction, and we. You know, we do try to interact with the chat when you're doing the chat, 2 channels chat plus the questions. It does get a bit hard to keep tabs on the chat, but we did try. But so, it is like we often say we like talking shit.
I'm going to do a poll real quick because I've actually got something that I've been talking about with someone in the background. I haven't talked to Algared about this, so I don't want to surprise it with you, Algared, but. Would you prefer? Would
you prefer?
So the first one would be ship giveaways.
Yes.
The second one would be custom. I guess you call it custom. Unique. UNIQUE giveaways, and then the final one would be no giveaway. And there's different.
What do you mean by unique giveaways?
I'll explain.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, I will. Why can't I spell giveaways? Oh, because I missed the A. Right, so now I got to repeat that over here on this side, Algared. Bear with me. But I will. Probably should talk about it for the go button though, shouldn't I? So I will talk about it. Yeah. Right. So. One of the ideas I had for a giveaway was, you know how I made that keyboard for myself? This one?
Yeah.
Right? So I'll see if I can...
Yep.
I'm going to unplug it. It's going to make a noise. Right? But what I did was I did custom keys. So I've got the Star Citizen key, I've got an Inforunners key, and I got a Squadron 42. And I bought all these custom keycaps. And this was a Keychron keyboard that I customized the shit out of, right? Yep. So that's that. I've got to plug it back in. It's going to ding again. But
before you go further, thank you, Moon Daddy, for that 1-tier sub to Algared. Most appreciated. It's their first gift sub on the channel. So thank you so much for that gift sub.
What a fucking waste. He's a mod anyway. I think you got all the shit anyway. Anyway,
hey, what can I say?
So the idea I had was I was talking with someone during the week about he wanted to do a keyboard similar to mine. And we were talking about it, and then I said, well, what if we did this as like we buy a really good keyboard, and we were looking at these keys that are literally like resin keys, and I'll it's on Etsy. Hang on, it's the custom resin keycaps Etsy, and just see if I can get an example of one that comes up, right? So this is the exact one we were looking at. So this is perfect, right? So this is Stonehenge in a keycap, right? That's pretty detailed, no? So my thought was, what if we get some custom keys made? So like the escape key, the shift key, the space key, the enter key, and we do Star Citizen theme. So we get little resin, like a little resin hornet and maybe a scorpion, something like that, and then the space bar, they're shooting each other, and you can do smoke trails in resin. So really high quality ones done, right? And we get them made, go all out, splurge like crazy, and then we do the same thing. We customize the shit out of the keyboard, custom lighting and all that type of thing, and it's a one-off ultra custom Star Citizen keyboard. No, you can't
ultra custom Star Citizen Inforunners keyboard.
Yeah, but you can't sell that because it's their stuff. But you can give it away because that's what that is what Grim does with his posters. So we make a one-off keyboard and we give it away. And if we want to do it again, we can. So maybe we make one that starts as the theme as a generalist, and then maybe we do one that's Squadron, or we do a Grim Hex, or you see where I'm going with this, right? So if it takes off, so that's why I want to do this poll. Would you rather just doing, because I even try to make the ship giveaways different. They give us a Shiv, I turn into a Paladin, because everyone else is giving away a Shiv, right? So I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to make it a bit different, you know? And now I've got another ship, and I'm going to turn that back into the Shiv, but I'm giving it away 3 months later, or, you know, stuff like that. So I kind of want to get this as a little bit of a tester of what you guys want. So we'll just see how it goes.
Yes, it would be, as one of the people said, yes, it would be expensive to do that. Yep. Yeah,
it would be. Well, the keyboard I'm looking at minimum is like, it was like 400 Australian dollars. I think it was like 230 American, right? So I'm probably going to spend like $500 on it all up. But isn't that a cool prize? Can't get it anywhere else.
Anaquin says, Riddick, thank you for rating. Awesome. Welcome, and welcome to your community.
All right, let me just, we're about to do a poll, guys. So I'm checking the poll out there. Just to go over for the
Anaquin says in terms of that.
Well, hang on, before you go, I've got to do this first. So we're talking about doing a custom keyboard as a giveaway. It'll be a custom Star Citizen keyboard. All right, so now go ahead, Algared. That's what that poll's about.
Anaquin said an Execute hat and an Algared tie giveaway.
Oh, we've been talking about merch for years. But again, we're not in this for money, but it'd be really great to say do some merch so we could take that money and say put it towards a trip to CitizenCon, right? But then there becomes all these tax problems and all this type of shit, and that's just the shit I don't want to deal with. So I know we've got people in the background that really want us to do that stuff. So if they can pull their finger out of their ass, the guys in chat, that's why I'm saying it like this, finger out of your ass and get on with it, then we can start doing that. Not going to say who it is, but he knows who he is. And yes, I'll talk to you later about it. Because he's going to go, you're in, I'll see you in the NT. That's what he's going to say right now.
So, Rough Gaming Com has gifted some snubs. He's given a sub to HP Junkie, to Denny NZ, to Mandy Bra, to Big Daddy Tonk, and 2010.
Yep.
So give you thanks to Rough Gaming Com for those.
Thank you for the raid, Riddick. He's raiding and running, but yeah, thank you, mate. A lot going on there at the same. Oh, we've got another hype train going on.
We do have a hype train.
So yeah, but I'm just interested to see what you guys think. I know it sounds a little weird, and I had to explain it. And then the no giveaways thing is, you know, I knew it would go a little bit all over the shop, but because obviously different people are going to have different things. But my personal preference was probably don't do giveaways. We haven't really done them, but then when they started giving us the ships, I felt compelled to give them away, because what am I going to do? Just sit on them? And I've got a few in my, I've probably got 5 just sitting on my account, and I'll eventually give them away.
We still need to give away,
But I'd like to change them and upgrade them or something like that, you know, or I'll give them away with skin or stuff like that. So, but again, you know, if we're, maybe when we start doing merch, maybe I can start doing more unique giveaways. Again, filter that money back in to give back. Do you know what I mean? That might be the way to go about it. So maybe when we start doing some merch, we'll turn around and start feeding it back in. But
we still need to do those.
And so, like Luna Maria says, I never NL giveaways. So it was different strokes for different folks, you see. So I'm not a big giveaway person, because I think it like with the dropping of all those subs, I think it actually hurts us in the long run, because when you get those negative subscribers, they just go, why are you, or you've done something wrong, we're going to punish you. And we've had that happen 3 or 4 times now, where we just have mass amount of people exit the channel, and every time it's right after we stop doing giveaways.
I liked when we were doing our starter packs, and we'd say, hey, starter packs for friends.
But again, if we
can't afford or you want in, that's the type of.
But again, how do you vouch that someone's really telling you the truth? That's really hard to do as well. So there's room for exploitation there as well. It's a bit difficult.
Indeed.
And I don't even like to have to think like that, but you have to think like that, because obviously there are going to be people who turn up and they have no emotional empathy, and they can just sit there and lie their ass off. So, and some of those people, we've never seen them again, and they have left the Discord instantly and that type of thing. So, you know that.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Cameron SC, thank you for the 2 months sub.
But it is pretty much unanimous. It's about 50% on Twitch and 53% on YouTube. So both saying unique giveaways, and the Nova giveaways is roughly the same. So it's very similar on both platforms. So so maybe that's something we'll look at when we get around to being able to do merch. And we've been trying to do merch for years, but it's just if any of you have gone and does business stuff, it's just shit I don't want to have to deal with. Like, if you know about how we do this channel, everything is done live. We don't edit. We don't even like to re-record. In fact, I got asked to do recordings. I got asked to do a blooper reel, Algared, because I was showing someone during the week some of our fuck ups, right? And they were just like, you need to play a room. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit there and edit all that shit. I don't want to do that. It's too much work.
We don't want to edit. What do you think we are?
We do anything we can to avoid work. We're trying to give us more work. And he's going, well, you know, and then someone's like, I'll get someone to edit it for you. And I'm like, but then I've got to upload it to them, or, you know, stuff like that. And it is great to have people around to help do stuff. But then I feel compelled to go out of my way to help them and all that type of stuff. And it's not saying that I don't like to do that, but it all builds up, doesn't it, Algared? And we've got so short on time that we're just, as they say in Lord of the Rings, butter spread across too much bread. Like there's just not enough hours in the day.
That's the Hobbit, by the way.
The Hobbit, was it? Sorry. We got the same shit, different bucket, but close enough.
Oh, no, it was Lord of the Rings. It's Bilbo. It's Bilbo, but he's talking about...
I do not accept your apology. It must be in writing, 100 words, no less. Or more. No more either.
Easy.
Exactly 100 words.
Hello, Lemming.
Oh, hey, Lemming. Welcome. How you doing? Speaking of someone that does a lot of work behind the scenes, how you doing, buddy?
Yep.
You there? Or are you just... He's not talking.
Clearly not at the moment. He just popped in. But yes, Lemming does more work behind the scenes than he's ever really given credit for. So,
all right. Grim
our channel is.
We'll raid over to you. So Grim says he's going to start. Well, the problem is, Grim, if you're listening, we're about to wrap up. So if you started streaming now, we could just raid over to you and dump all these people onto you. But you're saying in 50 minutes. Well, they're all going to have pissed off by then. So I think we need to do a poll. Does Grim need to start streaming right the fuck now? Yes, Grim. Start streaming.
Yes, and we do have still a few more questions. So it's probably 10, 15.
Well, do you want to pull off another 50 minutes? We'll go 4 hours then. You guys up for 4 hours?
Yeah, I could probably cope with that.
You want to go for another hour?
Just for Grim.
Just for Grim. Do you guys want to go for another hour for Grim?
Just for Grim.
He does.
Yes.
Yes.
He does.
No, no, that's for asking if Grim should start stream now. I really want to show that video. I just found the video I sent Grim.
Lots of saying. They're saying, the chat is saying yes. Stream.
Grim.
And YouTube is saying Grim start stream. And Twitch is saying stream for another 50 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll stream until Grim starts, but hopefully he starts early. How's that sound?
And we've still got a few questions to go. So
what I'll do, just so we know, so we'll hear it in the background. All of us will hear it in the background. Is I'll open the YouTube channel to Grim's stream, and then when it starts, we shall know.
We shall.
And
although Grim could just pop in and be in the chat, like he said he was going to.
Yeah, he said that he would
come back
and let us know. Is that you, Lemming? Did you just speak then?
No.
Oh, how are you? We were talking to you, but you didn't reply. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Tired. It's been 3 hours. After sitting under the lights for 3 hours, you feel a bit cooked.
It does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but we're talking about like all the shit that goes on in the background. How many people, like I don't want you to name names because a lot of people want to remain anonymous. But how many people would you say work in the background behind me and Algared at this point? It'd have to be.
There's 3 mods. Sorry, 4 mods.
Isn't there 5?
I think there's 4 mods.
I thought it was 5.
But
it goes beyond that,
doesn't it? Then we have the CCU helpers that help out during events. There's probably 10 people total.
And then the professional point of view people, they don't do a lot so much anymore, but they are there. Yeah. And then you've got people that go outside that are people that we know as well. Oh,
exactly.
We're just a face.
It's a village at this point. And I really like our Discord. It works really, really well. And me and Algared are very hands off. We break ties, Lemming. That's pretty much what we do at this point, don't we? Yep. You guys can't decide that the adults come in and go, right, do that. But that's very rare now, like extremely rare. And I even come in and I don't go, do this. I say, is this a good idea? And you take it on or you don't take it on.
The guys go, everyone says, nah, yeah. And we go, okay.
Yeah, it's not a dictatorship. And I don't want it to ever be that way. I want it to be working together. And that's why it works so well, I think. Yeah, it's and Lemming will come back to me. Lemming is really good at fighting. He sounds really quiet, but he can be quite savage if you push him. Very rare that he'll do that, but he has stood up to me quite a number of times. And I'm like, and I have to apologize to him because it's when I'm in that IAE state. He will, it's quite, you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Lemming? You'll give it to me. You'll give it to me when I deserve it. I wouldn't call
myself quiet at all.
No, but when I deserve it, you will give it to me, is what I'm saying, right? And I do deserve it when you give it. And I get, oh shit, I crossed the line. I made Uncle Lemming out. He's mad. but yeah, look, they know how to handle me now. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Thank you, Graphic TD, for the subscription with the Prime. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
But yeah, I do like to talk about you guys because you do a lot of shit that goes really kind of unnoticed. And if I could actually name you all, I wouldn't be naming and shaming you, but you guys don't want it. You like it's almost like you.
There is so much they do.
Yeah, you just want to move in the background.
Makes it easy for X and I to not to have to worry about stuff.
Well, just at AIE alone, like with all the CCU stuff, the CCU helpers and all that, like that took like half the weight off all the shit I got to do. And I am nowhere near. Well, Algared and Lemming, you've seen me all these years. How much less stressed? I'm still stressed, but how much less stressed than I was? Like I was literally manic. Like I was.
Well, I mean,
there'd be times we'd all be manic, but
he would go and hide in a hole for 2 weeks after the end of the event, and
I did it again this year.
Now that doesn't happen as bad.
Well, I did it a little bit this year, but this year was bad because there was no breaks. There was just like 14 days no breaks is just too much. It's just unattainable. Like and I've got a sleeping condition, so it makes it work. Anyway,
it makes it horrible.
but I love doing
All
it,
right,
and I do it for the interaction and to help people. That's why the whole where it's all started.
Which is why we constantly keep doing it.
Yep.
All right, so Parker. Parker XGPS says, heard anything from Minion Soldier recently? Which has got to be for you. So, have you heard anything from Minion Soldier?
No.
Okay.
I do know. Like, if we quickly go back to his channel real quick, he did do a video. A little. Wait, let's look him up. Minion. Oh. He just obviously, like almost all content creators, Minion Soldier channel. Or not? Am I spelling Soldier Incorrectly? Is what this is? Spelling like
SOLDIER.
no, it's was it one word? There he is.
Yep.
Last video he did was, well, that can't be right. 2 years ago. Yeah. So, wow. I swear I saw one. So he's dropped off then. So obviously his real life is hit or something like that. No, live was 7 years ago. So he really hasn't done.
Thing.
Go ahead, Lemon.
Well, one thing that you'll learn being in this community for very long is like content creators come and go like a lot. Just because life changes, I mean, people just come and go. So I'm sure that a lot of them are going to come back when we get closer to 1.0.
Absolutely.
But I mean, people just kind of come and go sometimes. Well, it's just kind of the game.
Let's talk about two Inforunners, Osiris Frost and the Sixth. Osiris Frost could only really be around 6 months of the year anyway, because he worked as a construction lumberjack looking type of guy, and then he had a kid, and that literally took all the rest of his time, and so he just disappeared. But he's around. I can reach out to Osiris and I can leave him a message, and he'll get back to me. You know, he's around. You know, he still loves the game, still follows the game, still follows Inforunners. He tells me this when I talk to him. He just, you know, he just
doesn't have time.
He just doesn't have the time.
Original Inforunner guy. What was his name?
Hayes and Dyson, and they're a similar.
Yeah, Hayes.
Yeah, so Hayes left for different reasons that we've never really got into, and I'm not really going to get into it on stream.
Okay.
But Dyson.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's okay. Dyson, though, was also the original Inforunner. He essentially, at the time when they started this channel, he had just started school, and he ended up becoming a radiologist, and then he became a full-time radiologist. And so as his study ramped up,
he had no time.
He dropped off because his study ramped up, and then when he got the job, he had no time to do it anymore. So he just aged out, essentially. And the Sixth, it was a similar situation with him. He had at the time, his YouTube channel was bigger than us, and he just stopped doing content because he got married, and then he got another job offer. And now what he does, I don't know if he's still doing this, but I talked to him off and on as well, that he started making music videos in LA. So he just was making more money, making more music videos, and
when you got to pay bills, you do what makes money.
Yeah, Algared and I don't pay bills. Well, we pay bills, but we don't use this to pay bills, right? We do this for fun, right? That's why we only try to do 2 shows a week. If we wanted to be the biggest and best Star Citizen YouTube channel, we'd be doing like a board gamer or a morphologist.
We'd be polishing them. We'd be doing 2 or 3 videos, or 3 or 4 videos a week.
We'd do a video every day, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, you know, and we'd. We'd probably still do these 2, but then we'd probably just have a little show every day that updates and stuff like that. But it's just, if it becomes a job, I guarantee you we're going to lose the passion for it. It's one of the reasons why in Algared and I've been here for so long, is this is, you know, and again, I'd put this to Grim as well. The way Grim does it, like if he's got to miss a stream, he just misses the stream because he's got his real life stuff, right? But then by the same token, he'll do a stream and shitloads of people turn up because they want to hear his opinion. Exactly the same. They want to talk ships.
No, I've got to be surprised at times I've popped into Bob's channel and they want me to get on voice and talk just because they want to hear my opinion on the things that they're talking about. It's weird.
It's the people. It's humbling. You're explaining the people, bro. Like I said before, like we both would not be here if it wasn't for the people. Like if you look at the game as it was over those 10 years, do you really think we would have been? No, because there just wasn't enough development. And that's why so many people move on, because it's just it's too slow.
I think ultimately it's that what people enjoy is hearing the passion that we have for the game. I think that and the views that we've got as they develop, and because we've also got that long history of being there for so long. We, the stuff that we remember that.
Well, that's.
I remember when we first started talking with Expat.
Yeah.
We talked about stuff, and it was like, where's that?
Yeah.
It was, and it was just common law, but it was just.
You're explaining the sum of its parts, Algared, right? It really is the sum of its parts, because it's become knowledge that we've gained because we've been here so long. Like, we wouldn't have been here for so long if it wasn't for the people.
Yeah, it's it's a.
Yeah. All right, next question.
The Lone Star.
Yep.
Do you think the Crucible will actually keep its repair arms, or would it make it more sense for CIG to swap for drones? No, because it's already got drones. But Crucible actually has a drone room.
Really depends how much they want to do repair, doesn't it? You go, Lemmy. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
One of the big things to remember about the Crucible is, like, it's a really old concept. I don't think it's going to look anything like what we think it's going to now. Yeah, we do know that they went back over it and looked over it a little bit. I want to say a year ago, maybe 2.
Yeah, it is an interesting question, but I think you need the arms to be able to start construction of the thing, and if they kind of make it go back to building, then you've got to. How do you build a wing in the middle of nowhere? That's my question, right? So you can build a ship from the landing gear up, but how do you build a wing on the side out of nowhere? And the only other way to do that is to enclose it in a box and essentially regenerate the whole ship. So you're right, they could get rid of the arms, but the only way to do that was then just close it in a box that nobody can see, which basically means you can only build arms inside a Scarab. Then the next question becomes, how do I build an arm or a wing on a constellation? I can't put it in the box, can I? So you need the arms. No matter which way you go around it, you can't get away from not needing the arms. And it's a sum of its parts problem.
I think it comes down to also, you look at it's a bit like the situation got with the Reclaimer and the Vulture and the ships in between. You've got, at the moment, we've got the Vulcan, which is just 4 drones. Actually,
I've just realized something. They've got base building drones. You could just literally make it a drone that builds the arm. I'm seeing the point now. So yeah, you could remove the arms. Because obviously it puts a lot of animation problems in there. Boy, that's such a significant change. I could see it though.
I see it as being the Vulcan is just drones, and the Crucible was drones plus the other functions that it does, and so.
But by the same token, all I'm trying to say is there's nothing that could.
But
stop.
I also acknowledge, yes, the technology has changed. So does that mean? What does that mean for the idea of the arms and the way the arms were going to work and stuff? So,
really interesting.
So yeah, it's an interesting question. I think it's how do you make the capital repair ship different from the one that's just drones?
Yeah, because if it's just literally a drone flying out of the Crucible and it flies over to an Idris and starts repairing, I can totally see it happening because it's cheap. It's just cheap and it works.
Yeah,
and it saves so much work that you don't have to do. But by the same token,
Vulcan could be doing that. You could rock up with a Vulcan and start repairing an Idris that way. You just wouldn't have the resources to do a lot. So
yeah, I just, the arms make it more tactile, more hands-on. And essentially, let me put it this way. Isn't so you got the drone that kind of like flies around and go wherever it wants. Isn't that the claw on an arm the same thing as a drone, but it's limited in the space where it can move to?
Yep.
You see where I'm going with this? So you could almost use similar tech. It's just that You know how they got the rope tech, and the rope tech just would eventually follow the drone, but all that is instead of rope, it's just a rope that's only got 2 bends in it. Because it's an arm.
I also think of it in terms of the way you do salvage. You know, when you're doing salvage and you're scraping, and you've got, you can be more tactile. You know, you can actually be really fine in the way you're doing it. Whereas the drone, I think, it's just, it's just less control, less. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm explaining that clearly, but
no, I get what you're saying though. I can see that they've already got tech in the game that they can pull the arms off. It really just comes down to, do they want to have to deal with the bugginess of how the arms are going to work? Where you can see why they went beam citizen, you can see why they're going drones, because it just
and
hovering is easier than wheels. It's that simple.
And I can see the drones, the arms being very much like Reclaimer's arms, where you're stripping, but you're actually painting the stuff on, or
that'd be,
so maybe that's how the difference. But yeah.
Well, again, does that mean eventually we're going to get ships that actually paint other ships? You know, like do they use that arm tech on another smaller ship that's literally just designed for, painting a ship?
Replacing RMC. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't even call it RMC. Just literally an artistic ship that paints other ships. The booth or something. I don't know. I don't know what you'd call it, but yeah.
Yeah. Aiden BD BQ1ZS says, what do you think the Apollo Hermes cargo capacity is going to be? And do you think it's going to be between 200 to 300 in between the Connie, Taurus, and Starlancer Max?
I think when you and I went through it, we worked it out to be roughly similar to the Raft, which was like 196 or something like that.
So based on that, we're thinking it would probably be close to a Connie Taurus, but not. But,
I don't remember the Taurus one.
And that was a guess.
Well,
I'm only going that because that's what the questions has 200 for Taurus, and I think Taurus is 196.
When we worked it out, it was bang on with the Mole, and the Mole is 96. So it's nothing like the Taurus. The Taurus has got like 100 more. So 96. Sorry, I looked up the Mole, not the Raft.
I think you meant Raft.
Yeah, I meant Raft, and the Raft is 192. So yes, you are right. Is very close to the Taurus.
Which I think is the same as a. Is that the same as a Taurus?
192 for the Raft and 196 for the Taurus, I believe.
That's my memory. That's my memory saying 196 for the Taurus.
I'll check that. And 174.
174. There you go.
I think I'm mid cope right now with the Hermes. Like,
where you at with
I want it to be something interesting. I want it to be something other than just a cargo ship, but I fear that it's just a cargo ship.
I think what we're getting is just a cargo ship, but it'll have data running when data running comes. That's where my brain's at right now.
I really hope so.
Because the name, I just can't escape the name Hermes. It's like integrally locked with data running. But when you look at it, it's clearly some form of cargo ship. So I think it's just some modules that you swap out to be data running modules, and they'll probably sell it where you can go, here's some cargo modules, here's some. Well, what's the point of making a fully modular ship like the Apollo and then making a variant? Well, obviously you want it to have at least one variant, or one module. So and they've literally said data is a cargo, so it is a cargo ship, but you've got to pick data or cargo. And again, like I said, if you make a climate controlled thing, that adds another little element to it as well that another ship doesn't have. Like, for example, the Raft can't do climate control because it's external. The MSR can't do climate control because it's that whole back section, and as soon as you open the back door, the climate control's gone. So if you kind of put an airlock on it, maybe it can do climate control. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it is just cargo, right? But it's just gonna be, again, a couple little mysteries left is always nice on release, and we've probably only got to wait until next week now. Which also implies 4.6.
I don't think we even have to wait until next week, because like the behind the ship is going to come out in the late part of the week. Right. It's probably going to be in the build before then. So everything is going to get data mined.
Possibly.
Maybe.
But again, the last couple of releases, they released them the day of. So CitizenCon, all those ships got released on the day. The AI ships, some of them got leaked, but it was the day. It was like literally the day right before AIE, right? Because they all went into that build. But if they can do it in such a way that it's the day of the patch, no leaks.
Yeah.
You know, and the way they were kind of talking about things, they were trying to move to a credence of not having to leak things. That seemed to be what they're trying to do. They talked about with no real need for a big patch. So they're going to leak some things that are not important, like the armor's coming out, right? But the ship, that'll obviously come out on the first day. So it all goes in on that first day, and that's the stuff that most people want to know. We don't give a flying hoots if there's a love heart armor coming. You know, we want to know about the meat and potatoes.
Well, some people do, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Anaquin in YouTube says it would have been far better if the Apollo chassis had just had modules for data running or whatever else they're doing. We've said that.
How dare you hold back money from CIG? How dare you do that?
Although I always wonder whether you do a module and you sell the module pack.
Yeah.
And the question is, are you going to sell more in the modules than you would in the ship sales?
Well, the other thing comes to is there are more external changes. Like, does it still have a skylight? Does it lose the scanning thing on the top and it becomes a radar for data running? Do you still have the turret?
It has a side door. It has a side door. If you look at that image that came out today.
All right, let me. I didn't see that, so obviously I'm blind. Hang on, give me a second.
I think it does at least.
I cannot.
I thought it was a lift, but hey.
Well, he could be on crack. I've got no idea. I'm just trying to. Here we go. Right, I had to go back through all the tabs.
Next to.
Right, where's this door? Show me.
I can't see your screen, but it's right in the middle.
I'm literally sharing the screen so Algared can see it. So you got no reason not to look at the screen.
Hold on.
Yep.
How dare you become unprepared, sir?
Where you thought the data
You're a professional streamer now, Lemming. You need to come prepared.
I know.
But I will give you though, they do look a little bit Terrapin-esque on the inside. They could be doors. If that's what you're talking about above my head, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That thing on the right hand side, I'm pretty sure that's going to be on. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't see your screen. Okay, I got it up now.
Can you see my face? This is a face of disappointment.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah,
scary.
Right.
It's sad.
It's just sad. But yeah, here, this is what you're talking about, right? So you reckon that?
No, I was actually talking behind Algared. Aren't those just doors?
But that's the cargo room on the Apollo. That's just a little side annex room.
Okay.
And it's clearly the component room, because this looks like a component door here. So they've just moved all the components down just into this area. I think this is going to be like the component engineering area, and then all that just becomes cargo up there. But if you reckon, on the other side. If you reckon these fold down, I could see that too. But also, and maybe that's why it's just a ramp at the back, because they've designed it so the doors open on the side. Maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule anything out. There's so many cool little ways they could have done it in this ship, and we just have to wait and see. I like the fact that there's still some little mysteries left. I do. I'm gonna be honest.
So, have y'all talked about that Argo thing?
Oh yeah, we did. I'm calling it the.
We've talked about it lots of times.
I'm calling it the Vol, by the way. Is what I'm calling it, because it's closest animal to the mole, and it's another mammal. And I used
somebody on Discord was calling it the moist.
Yeah. I don't know.
There was a guy in chat before calling it the Mose, M-O-S-E.
Okay.
So we changed it from laser to salvage in the mole.
Yeah.
And I think Vol's better because Vol is another animal, and it's clearly an animal.
It's the soul.
Well, realistically, it's probably going to be an animal because the mole's an animal. But again, it could just be any four-letter acronym too. So whatever. CIG are going to have well, I think someone else said it really well.
Whatever
Their
they do.
their name's often missed. So, yeah, it's
Okay. I got to run, but it was nice talking to everybody.
yeah.
Good to see you, Lemmy.
I think.
Well,
Look,
good to hear you.
Bye.
long story short, Algared, the name usually is a hint at what it does. Like the raft carries things, the mole digs. So I think it'll be some kind of 4-letter word to mean
Right. Hints to
extraction or salvage.
extraction. Yep.
Look, let's expand what I did yesterday. If I will go back over to the browser and we
Mhm.
go into this, and we'll just go to Gemini, and I'll go based on the Argo mole from Star Citizen, can you give me a 4-letter name
The
for
retriever. I like that, prisoner.
Salvage ship from Argo? Bang. The bite, the jaws, the iron, the hulk, the gnaw.
Prisoner said the retriever.
Well, it's not 4 letters, so it doesn't work.
No.
Every single one of their ships is 4 letters. MPUV. The only one that breaks that is the CSV FM, which is 5 letters.
The FMLT.
The smelt. Ooh, that's no,
SMLT.
but wouldn't
The
that be,
smelt.
but wouldn't that be a refinery, Parker? That's a refinery ship. Smelter.
Salvage. Something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
would.
don't know.
I reckon that's a great name for a refinery ship by Argo.
SRV. It's only 3.
True. But the point stands. They're acronyms. How many is retriever?
Yep.
That's way too fucking long. Give me. Wait. What is an acronym for the? Got it correctly. Data Hunter Retriever, Hunter Retriever Champion, Labrador, FRC, Flat Coated Retriever. Oh my god. Yeah, so they took the wrong.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll do it another way. Shorten the word retriever to 3, 4, and 5 letters. Right, so these are the ones that will come up with, and if I go to AI mode, is retter, and retriever.
Yep.
So that's what you'd be getting as an example, based on the fact that they turn it into an acronym. I don't like any of them. I'm going to be honest. They're all a little weird. And it's a look thing, right? Let's be honest. Like, they're doing it because of how the letters look together, like mole, raft, CSV, SRV. Like, they're doing it on a look. Yeah, that works too. There's a real simple one from Cragon. The Salve, SALV. That works really well. Argo Salvager. Just literally take the word salvage and shorten it. Fully agree with that one. That one is a really high contender in my book. The more I look at it, the more I look at it, the more stupid my vol idea is. But again, it was an animal. I just like them to use another animal one. The mole DS, the mole SV, because it's the salvage variant of the mole or something like that. Yeah, it'll be something silly. And I think we're all sitting here trying to guess, and I think none of us will get it correctly. It'll be something completely idiotic. And I actually think their naming conventions have got worse over time. Like the CSV FM is just absolutely word salad. And the CSV SM, like, are you ever going to call it that, Algared? I don't even call them the MFC. I call it the Grey Cat utility vehicle. Is what I started calling it, because it's too complicated to say.
A Grey Cat Ute.
Well, Grey Cat F. I have to actually think of the letters, so I have to go M and C, and then I go, is it P or X or it's too complicated. It's just bullshit. I'm not even going to call it the MFC or the MTC. Or I'm just going to literally call it the Grey Cat utility vehicle. Yeah. Grey Cat AA or the Grey Cat Fabricator or the Grey Cat Armor Support or something like that. Because their names are too stupid. They're word salad. And if you just called it like the Grey Cat Locker for the armored one, or the Grey Cat AA, as you said, or the Grey Cat Fab, that would have been fine.
Yeah, they make sense.
Yeah. And up until that point, they'd all been PTV, and now they've gone into other acronyms like PTC. And it's just made it too complex. I know the path you were going down, but as soon as you skirt off the path or change the path, it just becomes untrackable and untenable, and it's just Yep. And again, you're doing it with Argo as well now, because as people have proven, you've got 3-letter acronyms, 4-letter acronyms, and now 5-letter acronyms. Where if you just left it at 4, that's a, what do you call that, Algared? That's a, what do we call that? The
Mess.
No, not a mess. The when we the word starting with C that I always bloody forget.
Convoluted.
No, not a mess or a problem. When the confines, but that other word. Oh,
I can't think of what you're thinking.
Someone's gonna.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but it's when you Damn it.
Concise.
No. Nope. It's the
I'm just.
Not consensus. It's the. Now you're just throwing words out there, Northern technical. It's when you work within the confines to make it so that they are. It's not consistent either. But you know when they have their own rules for law and stuff, and it's they follow their own rules, and so it stays the same, and you can kind of track it. And I can't think of the word consistent. Dementia. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Prism. Yeah, I'm definitely having dementia. I can't think of the word. It'll come to me after stream, and I'll go, "Oh my god!" But you know, there's that word that we start. There is a word we use with C, and we use the same one all the time, and I just can't remember what it's meant. But yeah, you're using a lot of very similar words to what is, but it's not the exact word. But I'm kicking myself. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? It's those rules you put in place but essentially you follow those rules so it stays the same.
Yep. And I can't think of it either.
Everyone's saying all these C words that fit, but they're not exactly it.
And I'm going to change. And I'm going to change the topic
and
go to one of our questions. Project Gnome 1961 says, "And do you think they are telling us every ship they're working on? The ship list is nowhere near 24." Well, that answers your question, I think.
They said 27 this year. What they said, not 24.
Yeah. Well, you said 24 plus. So if the ship list that we've got does not have 27 ships, and they're not telling us those ships yet because they've now gone to no concept sale, and we just get them when they're done, then yeah, they're not telling us all the ships they're doing. Anything to add to that?
Well, again,
pretty obvious.
Look at what happened last year. How many of those ships are really new? Like, if I go back over to
continuity, maybe?
No, I've looked through it all. Right, so again, if I go back over here, right, and you count the ones that are new, this is a variant, these are variants. So we're at 1 for the Paladin. I'll give you the Paladin, even though it is technically almost a variant. The Golem is another one. This is a variant. This is technically new, but it's been around for ages, so I'm going to give you that one. The MTC is technically new, but it's also a variant, but it was new. The Shiv, new. The Wolf, new. So up to 6. Variant, new. We're up to 7.
New.
Variant. So 7 ships out of 24. That's not... What's that? Third? At best?
A third. A little bit less than a third.
Yeah. So my point still stands, is that of those 27, do you really think we're going to get 8 that are new? And let's be honest, the Hermes is a variant. That they'll sell it though like it's not, but let's be honest, we all know it's a variant. And then, you know, we've also got this thing. And that is clearly a variant as well. So we're on the same train as last year. Constipation coming. Get a grip. Get a grip, guys. You've gone beyond. Come to me. It'll come to me, and I'll be kicking.
Were we thinking of conventions? Or naming
That's
conventions?
it. The convention. The convention. That's what it is. Like naming conventions of ships. They don't stick to their own conventions. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Conventions. And they break their own law. That's what I was trying to say. They don't follow their own conventions, and they break it.
Change the rules.
Yep. And you've now got all this law in place that you should start to follow your own conventions. And I mean that across the board. Like, they don't follow their own metrics. They don't follow their own ship sizing. They don't follow their own law of their own manufacturers. And they just keep breaking all these conventions. And it's really driving me nuts.
And we raised it yesterday when we were talking briefly on crafting.
Yep.
Because the crafting does not use the actual components. We've got a company in game.
Mm-hmm.
That great company.
I think they will for some. Oh, Algared, let me explain. There are certain pieces that do use parts, and there's certain ones that don't. And you've also got to remember they're making it for the game now, and then as those parts, they're going to add more and more recipes as time goes on.
Hopefully, we'll get to the point where you've got to have that. The things like the Kruger make the trigger switches or the triggers that are in the guns because they make the best. Well,
there's already There's already recipes in the game that use the rare ore, and then there's ones that use like ingots.
Yeah,
we've seen these in other games, like Ark Survival Evolved. There are certain low end items where you can make it just with the ore, but then there's ones where you're going to turn it into ingots to make the higher quality stuff.
Yeah, but then it's not. That's just using ingots and stuff. Isn't using the prefab cut pieces that you've got companies that do that, and they're known for that. So it's breaking the law in that regard.
If I want to build a Kruger Wolf, how many parts do I have to ship in from Kruger? Things like that.
Yeah. Or can we make those parts, but they won't be as good, or
are they better because we just bought the blueprints off Kruger, and that's how they get their money. They sold us the blueprints.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, but
Frank Blue says, can you recommend a solo pilot PvE combat ship for me? No, because I usually would not encourage people to fly pilot solo.
I would probably say if you're really into combat and you want some recommendation, I'd probably recommend talking to Bobs. He'd probably he flies them the most out of the Inforunners. He is in Inforunner now, by the way.
Yeah,
a week ago.
If you hadn't worked out.
Yeah. So me and you would go more flexible, wouldn't we? We'd probably recommend something that's like a 2-seater, so you can have your cake and eat it too. At the moment, the Scorpius is really strong, but you and I personally prefer to fly the Hurricane. I don't think any ship is really going to come in and be perfect because every situation is going to be different, and there's so much more stuff to go. I can give you the best ship in the game right now. Then 2 years from now,
and right now, if I'm flying solo, I'd probably take a Wolf, but I'd take the ships that appeal to me in look. Yeah, when I'm going down that level, but I don't do much solo. Yeah, I'd probably take something individual ship stuff like an Arrow or a Gladius or a Wolf, like Algared said, something on the low end with the possibility to upgrade it into something bigger. But we don't really look at ships based on, especially fighters, because fighters are really overpriced. We're more about value. And as soon as you get up to around about $100, why wouldn't you spend just a little bit more and get like a Cutlass or a Spirit? But then all of a sudden you're losing all that combat effectiveness that you wanted. So if I'm doing and if I'm doing solo gameplay and I'm doing PvE, I probably take a ship. I probably take most if I'm doing that is probably and I want a smaller ship, is probably the Phoenix. And then when you I get that. Yeah, and then when you do get up into those single-seater ships, we've got ships literally like a Guardian that's $290, and at the time, before the Paladin came out, you could literally get a Paladin for $300, and now it's $350. Even at that extra $50, $60 over the Guardian,
You get a 2-seater. It's heaps bigger, but it can go up to like 4 people. It's way more armored. You see where I'm going? Like it's a really slippery slope. As soon as you jump a little bit, it's just jump a little bit more. And combat ships are just in this really tricky spot where they're just not good value for what they are. It just does not translate. And it's because you can use them in the game right now, and a lot of the other ships still have their gameplay to come in. So
now I do know the prisoner's saying the Hornet Mark II, although spendy. I know Bops actually prefers the Hornet F7A Mark I.
And I would say for now that's probably the case, but when other things come in like armor, it'll clearly go back to the Mark II. This is the problem. We're in this flux between. Me and Algared make all our recommendations on what the game is going to be, not where it is now. Because this is a moving goalpost. Where the game is going to be at release is not a moving goalpost. It is solid. It's their intent, right? And do you want something that moves and changes? Let's look at the reclaimer we talked about earlier. In a total shithouse state right now. But will it be in a total shithouse state? Most likely not. And it's that type of analogy. So look to what it's going to be, not what it is now.
Yeah, and it ties in with what PIGF said about Baconi. You know, Baconi, people say shit, and they say, but it's got Chris's name on it. Yeah. It ain't going to be shit.
So, and again, if you're doing combat, I have to assume you're playing combat for the now. I'd always just say get a combat ship and then at least have an exit strategy into something else down the road.
And the key there is also PvE. He's not looking for, Frankie Blue said they weren't looking for PvP, but PvE. He said in chat, he says, fair enough, I was looking at the Paladin. Yep.
That is one I would recommend. For the money, it is good value, but it's really not the best for one people. You really need 2 to pull it off. Well, but for the again, it's not a bad value proposition.
I'll be honest. I like the Phoenix because you've got the big guns for the pilot, which is one of the things I hate for multi-crew ships. But it also has that little PDC turret, so it gives you a little bit of extra oomph. And if you get extra people, you got them on the turret. So, or you got someone who can take out the P72. But that's just me. But it's not. But as your question is that it's not a solo pilot ship, so that made me think just straight fighters.
All right, we are literally very fastly approaching the 4-hour mark. Grim,
we are.
We
have 3 questions.
Oh, okay. I was just going to cut it off. But okay, if you want to do the 3 questions, go ahead.
Yeah, we will do the 3 questions.
I am hungry and I want to eat, so hurry the hell up.
Complain.
Yeah, I had the best time until you got back, and now you're back and you're bossing me around again. All right, keep going. Give me your shit.
I had the best time when I wasn't there, but man, I come back and you're embarrassed me.
Yeah. And... Winner, chuck in some love hearts. I need him to go red again. Right, yeah.
Okay, so being to Delphiki says, why have they not released the Zeus Mark II MR? They have most of the gameplay and only need to reserve space for some
bounty hunting
really in.
Yeah, but bounty hunting is not in yet. It's just sitting there waiting for a few things, and it has been for a couple of years.
Yep.
I don't know when it's going to be, but when it is, it'll come in, and you'll probably look. I said this before, Algared, and I think you might agree with me. With the new gameplay starting to come in, I think you're going to see ships come in bunches. So, say they bring out data running, you'd see a couple of data runners come out in quick succession. You bring out bounty hunting, you'd see a couple of bounty hunters come out in quick succession. So,
I think that's probably the.
I'll give an example. Tell me if you disagree with this, Algared. You and I have talked about this at length about some of these ships, so I'm just doing it quickly.
Yep.
A Clipper bounty hunter variant. Intrepid bounty hunter variant. And there's just 2 off the top of my head, right? And then you go to data running. So, do you get a Clipper data runner variant or you know what I mean? We also looked at a data runner for the Intrepid as well. Remember, we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. So you can quickly see that there are ships sitting there in the wings that they've probably built a variant of that's just sitting there. waiting for those variants to drop.
Yep.
But we'll wait and see. Right. Last question. Second last question.
Yep. So second last question is from John Walters. Reads, and he says, you have stated that the Odyssey has been badly sold, and its main purpose is to scan planets. But the QA says that the Terrapin and the Hornet have better scanners. Why get an Odyssey?
Because it scans down to the surface, and if you look, its scanner is completely on the bottom of the ship, implying that what it's scanning is below it. What's below you? The only thing that's consistently below you is a planet. And if you look at when you walk through the grey box in the episode that they did, it clearly has a cartography table in the cockpit or the bridge. And so, again, they at length talk about having a surveillance ship go with the land claims. That's what it is.
And the reason we saw it was badly sold is they sold it as a carrot killer. And that was a big push.
And they're completely
it's a carrot, so
they're in completely slightly they're in the same explorer category, but they're different types of explorers. It's like saying the Dur to the Zeus ES. The Dur is a long-range explorer. It's got all these extra fuel things, extra fuel tanks. It's designed for endurance, durability, the length of the exploration. And then you go look at the Zeus. It doesn't have any of that, but what it does have is extra shields and probably going to have extra armor and things like that because it's designed to explore in hazardous environments. Exactly the same thing. The Carrack is for space. The Odyssey is for planets.
And that's probably the big difference. It's not that the Odyssey is a bad ship. It's actually bigger than the Carrack. But you look at the what both of those ships have, and you can see their roles are different. The Carrack's got the drone, so it can repair itself. The Odyssey doesn't. The Carrack's got a cargo bay, which is really weird and awkward. The cargo bay and the hangar of the Odyssey just flow into each other, and that's cargo bay, hangar, garage, and it's all.
And the Carrack can't refuel itself, but the Odyssey can, and it's kind of like designed to stay out there and be resupplied. That's why it's also got that hangar. But the Carrack is really out there on its own and able to take care of itself on its own. But it does have to eventually. And you can see that in the way they're designed. They're designed very specifically for very different roles. And yes, theoretically, you could take the Carrack down to the planet. It's not going to do it anywhere as good or for any length of time. Like, it's going to have to hover the whole time. You look at the amount of there's only really 2 VTOLs on the Carrack, but you look at the Odyssey, it's got like 6 of them, right? So
and vice versa. You could take the Odyssey and do space exploration,
but it doesn't have the cartography room.
And
it's
you
got this little.
You can take all ships to do that, but again, the Carrack's got that big photography room, and so you've got the different roles, and it's
It's like you can.
That's why we say the Odyssey was sold.
I'm trying to think of a bad example. It's like you can take, you can take the flathead screwdriver, and you can technically use it on the cross screws, but it's not as good as a cross screw. It's a little bit like that.
It doesn't work as good as the Phillips.
It'll work at a pinch, but it's not the best. It's a bit dodgy. It's a little bit like that. I don't know. What is it? Phillips head and flathead or something like that is what they call them. But yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
All right,
last question.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, it's from John Citizen. He says, "How was the vacation, Al?" And it was good. It was great.
All right then.
The worst part was it's over.
So Grim did ask us to come around, and we'll probably pop by and say hello. And we'll see you guys over there. But we're gonna raid. We're gonna go to Twitch first, because it's easy to do it. So what are we gonna get him to ask Grim? Who's his favorite Australian content creator for Star System? Let's get some. All right.
Now, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
Yeah, Australian content creator. And then you know what? He'll say anyone else that's not. And then he'll say anyone else that's not you and me. And there's about another 5.
Anyone else except Execute. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can do that too. Do you know Paul was going to do that when I asked him, and he forgot your name, so he had to say Parasol. That was so good. How does he? You're so good. He forgot your name. That's all I'm going to say. That's even the biggest insult than deliberately not using my name. So I just won.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, so good. All right. Twitch,
I'm
say
shattered,
goodbye.
Paul. I'm heartbroken. That's all I'll say now.
Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. YouTube will be watching in.
Bye,
All right.
Twitch.
See ya. And they're gone. All right, let's have a quick listen in. See what he's talking about.
Large variants of that. And that's rather interesting because I was initially, suspecting that when base building came online, did we just get a raid? I think we just got raided by someone. Oh,
You
it's
did.
the Inforunners. It's our good buddy Execute and Algared raiding from the Inforunners. I was lurking the entire time in their stream. So thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it. Welcome over. Hope you had a good stream. You're probably talking about a lot of the stuff I'm talking about tonight. So if you're coming over, from the Inforunner stream, we're probably talking about all the same stuff. So this will be
Well, he
part
doesn't.
two.
He doesn't really stream on Saturdays.
And, obviously, Algared.
So it's the first time I've ever been able to rate him, I think, in a really long time. So we'll wrap up here. If you are on YouTube, you'll be redirected to go over to Grim if you would like to do so, and me and Algared will be over there for a little bit before I've got to kill someone and go get food. Right. With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. With that, then, he's been, it's you, and I've been.
It's been that.
I like that. That was well done. Good off the cuff. I like that one. All right. See you, citizens.
Take care.